and we're doing it live. Long and short is we are gonna actually do some of the plan work. It's been a week, right? It's been one of those weeks. But we'll get some of that work done. So first and foremost, though, I forgot to do something, or rather, I didn't get the thing started. So yeah, we're gonna do some of the website stuff. We might end up doing just a little bit of gaming tonight. Just because, I should. I don't know which device I have my sound coming out of right now. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's not causing problems. I'll put it over there. I can't actually hear. Because I don't want to actually hear right now. Because that's kind of the mood that I'm in, is I don't really want to deal with people. So, gosh darn it, Wolf. So yeah. But the gist is that we're basically where were we at? We were working mostly on the web on the graphic stuff. It's kind of what we have been doing, but I'm gonna put that off until it does not work at all anymore. But I'm gonna put that off until Saturday, where I can really kind of dig in. Because we're gonna have to redo most of those images for that stuff, and I want to get it done today, or not today, this week. Because I have to get these published for this upcoming, for not this next week, but the week after next. As you can see, for the rest of the schedule, right now we have the 4, so Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we've got our things there. Like I said, it has been one of those days, one of those weeks, but specifically one of those days where I have not had the time to actually eat before the stream, which I've been trying to get to do. Oh, all right. You're making me have to fill up. Oh, my camera apparently malfunctioned. Yay! It was one of those days, didn't I? At least it's not as embarrassing as that one time. Let me see something here. Well, that one time was funny. Right. I wonder how long it's been doing it. How long it's been in that sense. Uh-oh. It's still frozen. Right. Okay, well, everything is broken now. There we go. Wait, you don't even have the permissions to do that, do you? I thought I gave you the permissions to jump in there. You should be able to add yourself to the thingy if you don't already have the role. I thought I did. Oh, no, yeah, the streamer's role. Yeah, you can join at your leisure. I'm not going to make you either. You don't have to jump in, but you can if you want. That is, it's you, specifically Media Detective. You have the choice, because you can do so, but you don't have to do so. All right. Whoa, wait. Oh, I know what's going on there. I broke it again? I broke it again. Gosh darn it. I cannot win tonight. It's an easy fix. I just need to do the thing. What the deuce? Why did that not fix it? Oh, well, you're fine. Like I was saying though, is that you can jump in to join if you can join the chat if you want to, like the actual talkie call if you want to. You don't have to. If you want to, you can. You have the permissions. You have the power. You've actually had the power forever. So. But my camera is broken. Hey, welcome. Oh,
I just
fixed it. Yay!
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I just figured I would listen in.
No, you can do whichever you choose to. Like, I'm not making you. Because I'm mostly just kind of gonna poke here and chat and probably do some the actual work with the website. Probably, maybe play a game instead. I don't know. This is when I stream, so I don't know.
I am going to try to do some. That was bad. I'm going to try to do some artwork for the campaign that I was telling you about.
Oh yeah, cool.
What did you think of the silly idea? By the way,
silly idea. Brain. I don't actually.
The bag of relative use.
Well, I haven't looked at that yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me look at it. Oh, my camera just malfunctioned again. I'm having one of those days. I'm gonna actually have to physically turn it off if it does it one more time, or pull it off, pull it back in, sort of thing. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's fair. Although I would probably want to define the frequency of use to be a little bit more like, once per day or something like that.
Oh yeah, I kind of wanted to leave that up to the DM because it's meant to be highly personalizable. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, that's automatically after it actually automatically after the DM description in any case. So since it's automatically up to GM discretion, effectively it becomes any numbers, anything that's put there is a recommendation. Oh, did not work. Oh, you know why it did not work? It's because it's probably not pointing at the right camera. And it is, though. Why is everything broken? I'm most assuredly sitting in front of the camera right now. Yeah. A little fun. Be a black screen. It is not a black screen. Use. Am I pulling the wrong plug? Maybe pulling the wrong plug. Okay, so my camera is now properly not there. There we go. Goodness gracious. Can you say something there, media?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry.
We're good. I didn't know if I accidentally broke everything in the process. Because the issue that I'm probably having is that because my analog connector malfunctioned, I'm using a USB headset. My USB bus. Yes, I know, my universal serial bus. I know, but it's what it is. Is currently being overburdened. And so it ends up like capping out because of the other things that are running and so on. So it breaks in random weird ways. That's because I've also got a USB SD driver or SD reader that is currently where storage is going to. Honestly, what I probably should do is carve out a space on the proper hard drive and then do it the other way around, which is what I was supposed to do. But that's not what I did originally for reasons. Also because I didn't think it was going to actually break everything in the process. So, yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, to say the least. Let's see.
I'm going to mess around with a bit of shading on this one.
Sorry, what was that?
So I'm going to mess around with shading on this one.
Well,
I'm using Affinity. What is it? Infinity Designer. instead of Adobe Illustrator because fuck Adobe. But
Fair.
I'm still somewhat new to it. I just saw a few strategies used for Illustrator, and I'm pretty sure you can do the same strategies in this.
Is it
Almost a
kinder,
direct apply.
is it kinder than GIMP for comparatives?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause-
Very much, but unfortunately, it's Windows specific. Windows and Mac.
Yeah. Wait. But in Mac means you can probably contort it to your needs.
Potentially.
Being not Windows or Mac.
There we go. That line is a bit fucked. That's a strange line.
Well, of course, I can't see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And nor can the other me that can't. Never mind.
There we go. That's smoothed out. I just had to fix some of the angles because it's all vector based.
Tracking. Oh, what am I looking for? Supposed to do something. I forget what I'm doing.
People have had success in booting it up on virtual machines in Linux. What I've heard. So
that makes sense. But I'm also my stance is that no, I'm not touching either of those crap operating systems ever again if I don't have to put them for environments that require me to do so. But if the environment does not require me to do so, e.g. sitting at home, I will not do so. I am done encouraging the behavior of both of those companies in that regards. So it has come to that level.
Mm-hmm.
I am not even. It's one of those spots where I'm taking that stance. I've drawn that line in the sand.
Yeah.
Because I have no more patience for it. None.
No, I understand that. Why is this being the way that it is? Is it connected now? Can I start a different shape, please?
No. Because you're using Windows now.
No, I was just
yeah.
for some reason one of the nodes wasn't connecting properly. It decided it was two nodes sitting on top of each other. I should name these shapes.
Naming the shapes, that sounds like a silly option.
I need to stay awake long enough for my girlfriend to call me. She's in a dress rehearsal right now, so it's a bit funky, especially with the time difference. So we're on opposite sides of the country.
I mean, it's a mere 3 hours.
It can still be a nightmare.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just being a smartass.
Mm-hmm.
You also forget that over my left shoulder here there's a map of the United States of America with about like 400 push pins of places that I have been.
Can I share my screen?
You should be able to. I know you're not sharing your screen, but you should be able to.
So you can see what I'm doing.
That's what I was asking you before, and you were like, busy doing the thing, and I was like,
I haven't swapped over yet.
Oh, all right.
Can you see anything?
It's currently trying to load. It does remind me of something I forgot to do. So if anyone's watching on the Twitch or the YouTubes, I should probably do something here about this. Now that I think about it. How do I do this? Here.
I'll say that Affinity Designer is much more friendly than Adobe Illustrator is.
That makes some degree of sense. Let's see. Make a lot of degree of sense. Because the thing is that one of my functional issues with like Adobe products overall, and this isn't just the like rage, whatever. My default answer about these things. My issue with things like with Adobe is that they come up with they come with an assumption, and the assumption is that they've built layers upon layers upon layers into infinity, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, now we all know how to do all the things. It's like, no, now you have to spend like 5 years learning how to do the one thing for them to change it.
Yeah. Quite annoying. Just
Yep.
like this. See, that didn't connect for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Looks like it's connected.
Now it's connected.
Okay.
Wasn't before.
No, fair.
By the way, this is how I did the other artwork. This is how I kind of traced it.
Okay, I gotta ask the low-hanging fruit question. Did you make this character, or?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Well, that's amazing.
So
Yeah.
basically, what I did is I just jumped into Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate through the character creator, and I quickly mocked it up, screenshotted it, and then I'm drawing over it.
Okay, so you didn't directly generate the character, like you built the character in Baldur's Gate. Okay.
I generated the idea of it, but not the actual 3D render.
That's fair. You see, the nature of my question was like, I mean, as I could do is the using LLM prompt-based arts, but yeah. So okay, fair enough. I was just gonna go like, okay. Well, I'm outclassed.
No, I'm not that gifted. I wish I were. I could probably do something like this with a. My brain isn't working. With a piece of clay, but potentially, but.
I mean, but isn't that in effect what the origination of these models are, in a manner of speaking?
Yes, but I can do more with 10 points of contact than the one that a mouse gives. I showed you what I had to do for my art class, right?
I don't think so. No, actually.
The Octo Horse.
At least not directly that I recall. How long ago was this?
A bit ago. Hold on.
Okay.
It's dramatic.
I mean, if you did and I forgot, I apologize. It's been a it's been a long go. To be fair to me,
right.
jeez.
I'll show you what it looked like.
Yeah.
It's gonna pop it in here.
Eh.
You're gonna be on the phone. You're gonna be on the downloads, aren't you? There you are. So, this was with an oil-based. An oil-based clay. With my hands and a wire armature underneath.
Neat.
And a tool.
No, no. Your only tool is your hands. That's all you're allowed.
And then where is the final product? Where'd I put that? The final product is painted. It's all pretty. I deleted it. May have. Nothing's ever really deleted though.
That's true. That is very true.
There's another way I can get it. I sent the drow to someone. He said that he looks criminally inclined.
Makes sense.
I will say the the class I had to do for the sculpting stuff with clay, I nearly threw my final project across the room because the teacher was being a dick.
Oh no. What's up? That's like a story, in other words.
I didn't have the time to finish the project before the final class. There we go. The final class, and I was hoping to get it in just before it was due. I was 8 minutes late, and I tried fixing it, and he said that there was nothing I could do, which made sense. But I told him that but he then expressed disappointment in the final product because I wasn't able to do specific things because I didn't have the tools for it. And I expressed to him that I didn't have the tools for it, and he decided that he said to me, "I don't want to hear it." And as he walked away, he said, He kind of mocked me because I said I didn't have the super glue and I didn't have a knife that I needed to cut out what I wanted to cut out. So as he walked away, he goes, "I didn't have a knife. I didn't have super glue. That's what stores are for." Now, just before that, I should say that I spent $150 on materials for this thing. I was down to my last $8 until that day. So when he said that's what stores are for, I almost lost it.
How would it have turned out if you actually did lose it?
I probably would have gotten an F.
I mean,
Afterwards, he came up to me because he realized how much of a dick he was being, and he said, "I hope he didn't take that personally." I'm like, "Well, it's a bit too late for that."
Yeah.
That's the final product.
Neat. Yeah, Cthulhu is my answer.
But he said, "I hope you didn't take offense to what I said. If you want, you can take it home and submit it online online before Friday, and I'll give you full credit for it if you want to finish it. I just needed it turned in by today." I said, "Fine." But then the materials weren't working for me, so I instead opted for Photoshop because they taught me how to use it in the previous quarter, and well, you taught me how to use the materials, so I'm going to use them. You know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That you have the technique, therefore. I mean, what was his requirement? I mean, as long as it was within the requirement of what the the assignment was, which it sounds like it was.
Well, technically, it was cheating. It should have been made physical because all he did was replace the walls. But he said I could print out the picture and put it on the outer walls because it was a 3D building. So I just used Photoshop to put the picture that I was going to glue on there because super glue doesn't work with styrofoam. And just attached it that way.
Yeah, no, super glue tends to melt styrofoam.
Yeah, that's what it did on the inside, but not on the outside because it had a coat of paint between it.
Yes, it does. I mean, yes, indeed. Yeah, coat of paint will be a little bit different, but yeah. Styrofoam and super glue, don't try it at home. Unless you're specifically going for a specific effect.
Yeah. Well, it's done now. I got to be on it. He did not suspect any foul play, which is good because there was foul play. So,
or maybe he did, but overlooked it because of his own foul play.
Potentially. Hopefully.
I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like, with where that person is, he probably sees it all the time, and probably certain elements doesn't care, or does care, but doesn't, make a noise about it. And in context like that, where he called himself out as being a dick, he probably was like, I can see that he probably photoshopped this, and fair enough. And it shrugs.
Well, I was gonna say hopefully either he didn't see it or he didn't care enough to say anything about it.
Fair, and I'm going to assume that the person's more observant than they gave off, and they were being nice instead.
Hopefully,
Well,
that's my assumption as well.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that it's the assumption that the person noticed it and went, it's fine. Is that the guy was being nice to try and make up for being a complete no tool. I mean, it is a dickish move, especially when you're talking to, someone who barely has resources to get by. So,
and it was a common complaint with a few people that they couldn't afford some of the stuff. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create a new layer that I can nest things in. Let me create a new layer. There we go. So one of the cool things about Affinity with this, or what I like about it, is see it automatically nested that, which was nice. But also, if you want to nest things together, so if I have two eyebrows, right? I have two eyebrows. If I want to make a group out of them, or if I want one to be inside the other, I can just grab it and drag it on top of the other, and that immediately nests it.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really nuts. In fact, what I'm going to do is this. Just for organization's sake. And now I can move them together. Watch.
Who's that?
Because they're on in a group. Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator doesn't let you do that.
That would seem like a fairly basic thing to me.
Yeah, but if you've ever used Adobe, you would know.
I will have you know that I used Adobe like 20 years ago, good sir. So
yeah, Adobe doesn't do basic things well. What it does is it says, hey, we can do this, and then it gives you a basic approximation of that. And then when you say, hey, you said you could do this, it says, yeah, we lied.
The Adobe that I knew was a little bit younger, more agile, but was just as deceptive. So I was also fairly naive on the matter and was like, oh, this is cool. I can make pictures and do the Running Man animation stuff. That's about how far I got, was Running Man animations.
Jesus Christ. Don't worry about the black. I'm just changing the size, and then I'm going to fix it later. It should be I should have the ability to soft edge it as well. But yeah, so the campaign that I was telling you about, the Carsus one, basically it technically takes place after Baldur's Gate 3, but with a twist.
Oh, a twist, you say?
Yeah. So the canon version of Baldur's Gate 3 is you play as a ball spawn. If you're familiar with what that is from the original games.
I mean, ball spawns just a ball. What is it, demon or devil? I forget which one it is, but yeah.
He's technically a god. He was.
Well, no, I mean, as in, it's going to be a falling deity of some sort, evil, in other words.
Yeah. So you play as a bull spawn.
Yeah. Which is more the point than anything
in,
else. Go on.
in the version that I'm doing, we're going to abandon the bull spawn bit.
Okay.
Just a touch. Because as nice as it sounds and as cool as a story it can make, I'd rather not. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, I'm just blocking off areas for shading. So basically, just so you understand what I'm doing on this bit, I'm going to take these curves and or these strokes, and make them disappear. The path is still there, and I can still play with shading and everything, but I'm going to make that disappear.
Okay.
Or I can do that. And he's got a black eye.
He's wearing like a freaking sleep mask over one eye, like on part of his head. He's like, I'm a cheap pirate.
Yeah, so this either that or I'm gonna change the stroke. Just that a bit. I'm gonna change the stroke color, and then I'm just gonna fill it with the same color so it looks all the same. Because that's a thing I can do. If I want, I can make this white.
Neat.
Or blue.
Or red.
I need that. Anyway, so the game, I'm assuming you don't mind spoilers.
Nah, not really. I mean, I'm probably not going to play it for my own reasons, but I will say this. I am, however, currently binge playing Neverwinter, the MMO, which is the same universe. So, yeah.
So the idea is... Get rid of that fill. Thank you. So the idea is essentially... Sorry, my multitasking brain isn't working properly anymore.
Multitasking? What's that?
Oh, this is what I was telling you about the nesting.
Yeah.
So this pupil is now inside the left eye, kind of like how the group works. But if I were to fill it with white, right, and I decided, you know what, I want to take this and move it outside, it's masked behind this. See how that works?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. Because now, if without your background that you're currently your template, as it were, you can now basically have the person's eye move whatever position you want, and keep it within. So, can you I would have to ask, can you sub nest, as it were? Like take the two irises when you're done with them, right? And be able to move them, or the actual, it would be the full eyes, right? Have them move them as a whole unit within the eyes, so you can make it look left and look right without. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Sorry, I minimized the tab.
No, you're good. You're good. But you don't even need to show it to us. But you know what I'm talking about, where if you can nest it in, now you've got your eyes, and then you have your eye group, and then you have your irises group, and you can move the irises. Well, not just the irises, but you know what I'm saying. Again, the actual eyeball itself, and without having to do anything weird, which is neat.
I can do that. I'm trying to find a file for it because I do have it sub-nested.
Oh, cool. Well, again, you don't need to worry about showing me. The idea of, yes, I am able to do that. I'm yeah, that's cool. Huh.
Oh wait, I know what it is. I'm an idiot.
Because you just made my life insanely more complicated, or easier, depending on how I look at this.
It's under D&D assets. Grab that. Open. All right, so this is the one that you saw me post the other day.
Yeah.
So you see the layers here.
Yeah.
Grab that so you can actually take a look at it. So this is the face. And these are all the assets for it. Here's the right eye. That's the one that I have a couple of different nests. Here is the actual iris with the pupil, and the pupil is inside the iris. So if I were to grab this, right, I decided I wanted to move this over here. It's still inside the right eye,
Yeah.
but it's nested underneath that.
Yeah.
You see?
What about the other
And then
eye?
I can move the whole thing over.
Yeah. But I meant like as in being able to move that entire whole thing for both eyes simultaneously.
You can do that. You would just have to group the two eyes together and then work it.
Yeah, but your point was more that you can. Yeah. So your point was more that you can, and I'm just like, okay, cool. But now you can make the person's like eyes move creepily.
You can do that. It's just I'm not fully versed in this program enough to be able to pull that off.
Oh, fair. Nor do I expect you to be, but that does adequately answer my question. I was asking,
No, I got
is it
the-
possible less? Is it possible to do it less? Have you done it? Like,
Mhm.
can this happen?
It should
Yes,
be.
you can. There's a way to,
But-
even if you don't know how. It's still there's a way.
Yeah, my knowledge is yes, you can do that.
You just made my life insanely complicated though in a manner as I'm developing more pretense of thing. 'Cause I have been, as you may know, substantially messing around with the generated, the generative type art theme of uppers. I'm not as directly skilled because I'm not as practiced, right? But those ideas are ideas that I can apply.
Yeah.
Crap. Then because you take the image, the image generator, and you could do stuff like that, or what you're doing, or you take the image generator and then I have to figure out, and I know other people have undoubtedly figured out, but ways to kind of like properly segment it to do that.
Mhm.
I have to think about this idea some more. Let's try removing all that stuff. And that's the problem is I don't really have time to spend and sit and pontificate on the artistry stuff at this stage.
Mhm.
I have too much on my table to do. I'm doing too much techie stuff. It's kind of like you were making the comment about the multitasking brain. It's like put on a meta level because I can do the tech stuff and I think I'm pretty competent on them, and I can do the artisty stuff and I'd say I'm pretty competent thereof. But I have to focus on one type of task rate or another. I can do either with a fair degree of competency. But I have to choose one to develop, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's not entirely true. It's just one of those. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah,
because I have code in front of me, and I'm thinking about the artisty stuff, and then I'm crap, and I have the artistry stuff, and I'm thinking about coding. No, I can't win either way. The only problem is that my current day job, which is once again what I have, is more of it's not coding, but it's technical. So, which puts me more.
So
go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, here's the fun thing: is I've now got 3 nests inside this left eye here. I've got the pupil nested in the iris. I've got the iris nested in the inner eye, and I've got the inner eye nested in the actual eye shape.
Yeah.
So now I can move all this as one group if I just click the left eye, or I can move each asset individually if I wanted to.
And you're telling me that the so-called professional level stuff isn't quite capable of doing that?
Nope, you can't do multiple nests like that. You'd have to mask it. You can say strange because it is strange.
No, strange isn't the word I wanted to use. I had some bad words that I wanted to use there. Because I have very little respect for Adobe, to be honest. especially after that one. And this is what drove you away from them, for that matter, as we were discussing elsewhere. But the entire change of their privacy policy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That entire, they claim de facto rights over anything you produce utilizing their system.
Yeah,
like
that's what.
Yeah,
that's why everyone is actually switching to this.
Well, and there's actually something kind of interesting in a similar vein that happened I guess it's true for the stable diffusion area of things. Stable diffusion, are you familiar with it at all?
Yes,
Okay.
I've used it.
Yeah, which is what I use actually substantially, but for my locally hosted LLM type setup. But yeah, so thing is that apparently SD2, is it 2? I don't know what numbers. I don't know the numbers right now. It's I said it's been a long day. The next edition, like the current edition of it, they decided to indeed, Sarah, indeed. They decided to sorry, brain. They decided to add a clause that was like, if you want to use this for commercial, you have to sign up to their like subscription program. And it caused a whole, well, considering the nature of stable diffusion is the idea of a like open, kind of an open source solution for, generative LLM type image generation. So they try to put a commercial license basically on it. And it's like, you do know that people, yeah, it's like, you do know that people and like there are companies and so on that actually are using your stuff, and you just like, yeah, we want our cut. Well, they're going to cut you out is how that's going to work. Like, be glad that people are paying attention to you going, oh wow, your stuff's awesome, because that means that, guess what, people are going to, some people, you're going to get money from that. Like, what are you doing trying to ruin your really, really cool thing? Of course, OpenAI has also ran into that same bloody thing too, which might impact my current model of things, but it could be annoying. Well, I can already see that coming together.
Yeah, the tracing actually is very helpful.
Yeah, I could actually see that already coming together.
So this is supposed to be Casus. That's kind of what I've built it as, and these runes are part of part of his punishment.
So
yeah, the campaign that I have, it takes place afterwards, but so my character, who is the drow that I showed you, he sacrificed himself to become an illithid to use nether stones that were built in as part of the Casus crown. He used them to destroy it, to destroy its will technically, and that ended up killing the thing. But that also ended up turning him into an illithid because that was the only thing that could control it. And as we know, illithids have no souls. But he was infected with an illithid tadpole that had Netherese magic in it, which ultimately corrupted the very nature of what an illithid is. So the idea is that when he became an illithid, his soul was rended from his body and trapped inside an astral plane thing, or an astral plane prism, I should say. And his body went on to do the stuff that his soul was unable to do. And so the entire campaign kind of revolves around getting the body and the soul back together, and a zombified netherbrain kind of tries to take advantage once everything comes together, because the body was keeping the brain subdued. If that makes sense.
It does. I also want to I don't know which name you're preferring me in this situation, so I'm just saying Glasswalker. Whichever. Stop changing your freaking. Anyway, as you were talking about illithids, he wrote, illithids? I hate illithids. They make me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. ... Freaking dang it, ghost. I'm gonna tilt on that. Yes, there, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I thought so. I could feel you typing it. It was just one of those like, gosh darn it, you know what I'm talking about. Like which, if you keep on doing it, I don't know which one you want, and then I'm just gonna call you all of them at the same time. It's gonna sound like a freaking the Merovingian, the Matrix, reading, speaking all of the swears in French. That's how it's gonna turn out. And it's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna like somehow memorize that line. That's gonna be the only French that I actually know, which is kind of sad if you think about it, but that's okay. Why is it sad? Because my best friend happens to be French Canadian.
Yeah, and then the idea goes from that. In order to free him and combine that, a god who is created using Netherese magic has imbued the party with certain abilities, specifically a wild magic inside them that they can't use really. To revive Carsus from his tomb inside of a stone, who then goes wild and tries to reinstate the Empire, and also does end up actually helping the heroes. But my brain isn't working. But he is revived, and he tries to. He's a little bit of a bad before he decides he's being a little not insane. Insane's not the right word. The culture shock after that wears off, he gets better, essentially, and he's like, I know I was being a bit ambitious. Instead of trying to reinstate the Empire right now, because you guys aren't my problem, I'm gonna help you guys, and then I'll do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea of the campaign, roughly.
It's pretty neat. Let's see if I see that question right from you there. From you there, Anime Witch. No, it is actually Faerun as well, ironically enough. Weirdly enough, the setting, so you didn't catch the opening part there, but Media was talking about talking about that it's set post Baldur's Gate 3 story, kind of an alternative sort of timeline type thing. So it actually ends up being Faerun, because that's the setting that Baldur's Gate is in, which we've been exploring in the form of, well, Neverwinter. It's still funny how that kind of spins around, but it's okay. Yes.
That's the basic idea of the campaign, and then I just need to. I have two pre-built characters, more specifically character archetypes, which I know is kind of a bit of a faux pas. One is a sorcerer, one is a cleric. The cleric is the daughter of the person we're trying to save, and the sorcerer is the chosen of the god made of Netherese magic.
So I have to ask, what system is this?
Considering it was based off of Baldur's Gate, which is largely 5e, I would assume 5e. But
so you mean based off of Baldur's Gate 3? Because Baldur's Gate, which is what Ghost is talking about here, is definitely not out of 5e.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the third Baldur's Gate, not.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where because somebody brought up the first Baldur's Gate, now we have to be clear which one that we're talking about. I mean, I knew which one you were talking about, but he just brought up the first one, which I have to agree. Actually, what I want to do, I think, didn't somebody pick me up a copy of it when I brought it up, and I was like, "Don't do it," and he got me, and I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" I have to play it, which I haven't played it yet. I don't remember which one it was. I don't think it was Neverwinter. I think it was Baldur's Gate. I think he got me Baldur's Gate, like the first Baldur's Gate, and I was like, "You love." Let me check. Let me make sure I'm going crazy.
You want to make sure you're going crazy?
Yes. Because I'm assuming that I'm wrong. But the problem is that my assumption that I'm wrong is that I'm actually probably right, which means I am going crazy. Oh, okay. Steam is not playing. Wait, what? Why is there a message up here?
Just to be annoying.
Well, no, somebody tried to invite me to play 7 Days to Die, and I don't really want to. And it caused everything to break when they invited me to it, apparently. Oh, everything's moving and doing stuff. And what was that glowy vampire's name? I need to stop.
Vampire?
I don't know. Anime Witch there said, what was that glowy vampire's name out of which one? And I think you're right there, Ghost, that the first one was definitely AD&D. And then BG2, I think it was third. So what modules did you play in AD&D?
I've not played any modules. My uncle has a running game
Oh, okay.
that every now and again I jump in on.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he might have ran some modules.
If he did, I wasn't aware of them.
No, that's fair. I played with a group back when freaking Tomb of Horrors. Of course. Go big or go home, right? Yeah, it was Baldur's Gate that the fella got me. It was Damien actually. We were talking about it, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, I haven't played in forever, and if I'm gonna play 3 eventually, I'm gonna need to play the other games. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably never do it because that means I have to buy it and download it. And he's like, boop, and I'm like, mother. Yes. So now I have Baldur's Gate to play. Because he gave me just like a like a $10 game, so it's like, really, dude, really? Now I have to play it. I don't want to play it. I mean, I don't not want to play it, but I have to play it now.
I think I'm missing something here.
And now because, gosh darn it, crazy. That was crazy once. Well, there's always the rats. There's always the rats. And rats. Let's see. Oh, okay. I just like completely zoned out from what you guys were saying because I couldn't even track. My brain's just like all. Hexblade Dealer who hates daddy.
We've got the guy from Avengers Endgame now. Take a look. He's got no nose.
Look at what you've done, Ghost, to all of us. I hope you're happy with yourself. I know he's happy with himself after that one.
All these loose curves.
Alright, so I should technically do site work. I'm not feeling like doing site work. I do need to log into Neverwinter for a minute. Where is this even going? You make me crazy, Vixen. Crazy Vixen. This feels like it's a quote from something. I'm not sure what it is.
There we go.
I am now having like too many things happen, and I'm like just freaking turbo ADD. Like I don't even know what's going on anymore.
There we go.
Ah.
Sorry, I needed. With all the lines that I have to organize it more efficiently. I don't lose things.
Yeah, you're good.
So now I have the furrow nest, which is this bit. I have left eye space, which is all of this. I need to do the same thing for the right eye.
That's honestly, watching you do this is definitely helping my own technique, as it were. Because it's funny because I actually need to pay attention to these things myself. Oh, why did you write it? Ghost. You know it's not spelled that way. You know it's not spelled that way. It's not spelled Rouge. Smartass. The character's name is actually Rouge. Yeah, I know. And you're like, you specifically did that to throw people off. And I know you did that on purpose. And it doesn't throw me off because I know the context. I'm aware of it. But you did it specifically to be that way. I see what you did. So, long and short is that in Neverwinter, the MMO,
Mhm.
Ghost has his character, has his rogue as a Roge, as named as Roge. I can't even talk straight right now.
Mm.
As Rouge. So, because
Rouge.
the easy typo of, and it's a red rogue. The easy typo of rogue is Rouge, which is a word,
Mhm.
just not the word that they're looking for.
It's also a type of makeup.
Yeah, but the type of makeup that's also a word. So it's an actual word. So he did that on purpose because again, the entire Monsieur Frenchy fellow with all the French languages and stuff, and so he's having fun with it. So basically, he went.
Was he a fraud?
Well, again, he's French Canadian. This is a public piece of information at this point in time because it's been
Wait.
yeah. We've already had this conversation. So point is that yeah. So he's So he's playing off the known French language primary thing. I know what I just said. Anyway, the French language primary thing by calling it rouge, so it's the double entendre style, rouge, red. You're a wordsmith, you understand.
Yeah.
Oh crap. Well, so I kind of understand that you love to speak French to confuse people who, I'm assuming people who are listening in English or English speakers or something like that. That's the gist of what I'm getting out of this statement. So I'm probably totally wrong. I'm not using Google Translate because it'd be too easy.
There's only one word in that sentence I don't understand.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, I've got guesses on all of them. So, and which is the word that's missing you?
I'm gonna probably butcher it. Confondre.
Confound. Again, I'm not. Yeah, but I'm saying that's pretty straightforward. Unless if it's one of those ones that don't mean the same thing as the root. But
Let's take a look at the root. The root for the etymology for confound.
the funny thing is that yes, no, I don't either.
Yeah, it's Old French, is what it is.
Ah. But here's the thing: is that hanging around with somebody who does speak French and having gone to, confound, to confuse. Yeah, confounding is that which confuses. So, oh, you're being nice to Anime Witch because both Media Detective and I are like, yeah, we may only speak English, sure, but we do language things.
I dated a girl who really enjoyed French.
Ah, so you picked. There's an implication there that I'm not going to pry into. It's none of my business, but very well.
Actually, technically, I dated two girls who were into French. One was before the set, the other was during.
Okay. I was going to go with like something about the entire menage a trois type thing as a result, but I guess that's not how that one worked. Help me! I'm going straight down in the gutter, and there's very little I can do about this.
Oh, look, a booger. Sorry, it was too easy.
No, it's that's it's the humor that I need.
Trying to figure out how I'm going to do the shape because it blends right here, and then there's another shape for shading that I'm going to need right here. You see that?
Ideas, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
What's the?
Just gonna have to do a bunch of curves and then change the size of them.
Pretty much what it looks like. Well, again, there Ghost. You are fantastic at your English application of information and such. So, hmm. A fighter is a mage that uses lumps of iron and wood to destroy their enemies.
It's true.
You should have used the term as a focus. Hey, it's been an hour we've been at this. As a focus. So, there's a mage who uses lumps of iron and wood as a focus. Because it's not just to destroy their enemies. It can be used to destroy doors. It can be used to open doors, you know, to intimidate folks. They're a bit of an intimidancer, effectively, with the sword.
What's that for a nose?
It's cast iron. The only spell a fighter knows, however, is cast iron. I'm just looking for.
I'm gonna fix this curve here, but
yeah, there's that curve, but let's see. So my answer. What's the difference between a fighter, healer, and cleric? I feel like there's a joke here that I'm missing right now because I mean, there's the difference, a singular difference between fighter, cleric, healer, and cleric. Well, I mean, two of them are divine casters. So, you know. So that would be, you know, the difference if we were actually for a serious answer, but obviously we're not going for a serious answer. Because that is the difference. I mean, that's like the actual mechanical difference. A fighter is not a divine caster. Healers and clerics are.
I'm gonna fix that one. So now, okay, I'm somewhat satisfied with that.
So for Pathfinder builds, Ghost, they're still going to be on Cellar Dragons. So, because we haven't cut over the Pathfinder stuff to Cellar Dragon games just yet. Eventually, yeah, we will. But for now, we've been focused solely on the 3.5 stuff. We will eventually cut it over. Like, no doubt, no lie, no two ways about it. But it's just one of those, like, the priority was getting. Oh, is that the one I think it is? Oh no, you did not just point them at that. Did not just point them at that one. I know which one that is, and yeah, it is the one I think it is. Here, let me pull that up.
Didn't mean to do that.
What'd you do?
I just made a random curve. All right.
Some days are harder than others.
There's the nose. There's the nose.
I think that curve is still getting in your way.
Which one?
The one on the left side of the screen.
This one?
The big one. No, all the way to the side of it. No, all the way. Yeah. It's still a little. Yeah, it's still a little something. Now it could be matching the original, but I think it might be. What I might be losing myself into is the shading that's on the nose there already.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what I'm gonna plan to fix.
Yeah,
because this is slightly better than this is. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you already touched it off because I blinked because I was looking for something else.
Well, I touched off this curve that was messing up with the nose, and actually I should probably go back in and reposition some nodes.
Oh, wrong one.
There we go. That's better.
I'm on the wrong side. Oh, am I? Oh, shoot. Did I do that? Oh, did I really do that? Oh my goodness, I am insane.
That's better.
Huh. I broke something. I made something
What'd you
so
break?
this. Well, I basically made it so that you can't actually find the stuff on Star Dragons, the original website.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, it's kind of by design to a certain extent because it's decommissioned site, basically. Like, it's the decommissioning process of the site. But it just, there was a reference made to something there, and now it doesn't. It's not available. I mean, it is, but you have to like do certain weirdness.
Mm.
Iron. It's in. But I should be able to do it this way. There we go. Oh, is it a?
Hmm?
Oh, was it top 10?
No clue what you're referring to right now.
Oh, the Iron Kitsune build.
Ah.
Oh my goodness, look at that. There we go. It was actually Iron Fox, apparently, was the name that we used, or that was used there.
The fun bit is the drow that's taking care of the Netherbrain.
Yeah.
He's a multi-classed paladin warlock with a fiend patron.
Oh, nice.
Because he's intelligent. He has an intelligence of 8. He is vengeance though, so you can kind of explain that. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna see what I'm doing.
Wait, what? You can't open it? Hmm. He actually
Right, so this is,
did say what it was there.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Just that Ghost was saying that Drow Paladin / Warlock. Let me guess. Hexblade Warlock Paladin of Vengeance for maximum cheese.
Potentially. He uses his charisma modifier for his attack instead of his strength modifier, which depends on the day. If he's wearing his special gloves, he's got a strength of 23. If he's not, he's got a strength of 18 and a charisma of 20. I think I've got him equal 6/6, but I could be. No, I've got him because the game went up to 14 for me because I installed a mod. So he's, I think he's 11 paladin and 3 warlock. I could be wrong. I don't remember. There we go.
Oh, what the crap?
Hmm?
Oh, I did the wrong thing. Hey, Enemy Witch, that link that I sent did open as a without me being logged in, so you should be able to see it. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm gonna do this. Why am I doing that? I'm being stupid.
Like I opened it in browsing or in private browsing, and it was able to open it. No. The glossary will put you into back to, and that's the thing I was commenting, is so you'll need to go to stellardragons.com, not stellardragongames.com. So, and then you'll need to search from there. Because like the thing is that we we moved from Stellar Dragons, but I have my Pathfinder. We have our Pathfinder. I don't know why I turned to first person there, but we have our Pathfinder moved to a separate, basically, or the Pathfinder stuff hasn't been moved yet. But the glossaries themselves, that glossary tab actually points to Stellar Dragon Games' glossary, because I was basically trying to start forcing people. I know that's a mean way to put it, but get people to go to the right page, which in turn means that you can't effectively easily find the thing. So you cannot go to stellardragons.com and then go to the glossary and find your way to the stuff that builds. So it's complicated why I'm not going to fix that, but I'm not going to fix that. Because the thing is that basically the Stellar Dragons is kind of just, I left it the way it is so that people who wanted to find Pathfinder builds that we had put up before, because somebody came in, complained about it, and then left. Well, fair. And it wasn't a bad point. It was one of those ones where it was like, you know what? I should leave it open. I should leave it open for that reason alone. So people can go to it. Because I don't really care. Like, a lot of the problem I have with that is like the way that those images came out, and I accepted a lot. I accepted a lot that I should have accepted. So, and like the old Doge. Yeah, just Stellar Dragons. So yeah. So yeah. And then it's this link. So the link that I sent there, the Iron Fox, there we go. Okay, so that one actually did pop up properly. I don't know why the previous one didn't. It just didn't want to, I guess. But yeah, that one actually should work for you. So I had to go to my in private first and then do it. So, which is weird, but so you're going through and like actually like sketching out the everything lives there too.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
There's a reason I set up the tattoos and everything.
Yeah, well, like you said, they were there as a marker of punishment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, but also to actually sketch everything and actually get it all done.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more detail. I'm trying to, because my last one was fairly simple. I'm trying to do more detail. I'm trying to actually get shading done properly, so it's not as flat as the other one. Because this one here, I'm actually going to make darker than this one. I might actually boost the color on this one just a bit and make it more like that. Am I doing anything? Don't think I am. Yeah, more like that.
Opening the site for Safari doesn't work. Yeah, well, there's your answer. It's Safari. No, I don't actually know. It's weird because, like, I mean, as I said, I clicked on it. Right now, it's showing up in the proper everything. Like,
Might even actually gradient. Okay.
yeah, fair enough. No, I appreciate your patience in even trying it, because that is supremely weird. that I have like on Firefox, which I don't think I've ever logged into the site. It opened with no problem, just straight off. So I do not know why it wouldn't work for you.
So now, this should have a bit more. Yeah, it eases more into that. Did you see what it did there?
I did not actually. I was trying to troubleshoot something.
Alright, I can walk you through it just a bit.
Yeah.
It's very subtle, but I think it helps.
So Anime Witch likes what she's seeing you put up there, your process. They're enjoying it.
Basically, what? So I went to the curve here.
Yeah.
And I went to the fill bit because originally it was just on color, and it was the same color as this. And I boosted it just a tiny bit, but then they were two completely different colors. So I went over from color to gradient, and I just made this the darker gradient and this the lighter gradient. But I can probably swap them. Actually, there. That way it looks like the light is changing as we go along. It's very subtle. You don't really notice it that much because they're just a slightly lighter shade to a darker shade. But when it comes together, it will be more native, I think.
Well, and having that shade place to it, yeah, I can kind of see where you're going at with that now. With the
you can see it more with the background.
Yeah, for sure.
So. New curve. Under tattoos, please.
It's like Photoshop. It's what's the name of this program again?
It's Affinity Designer. So it's a company called Serif, and it's their response to Adobe Illustrator. They do have a Photoshop equivalent as well. It's called Affinity Photo, which is also much more intuitive than using anything made by Adobe. But I'll put it this way: I had to do something in Illustrator for school. Found it to be the most unintuitive piece of software I've ever used, especially for art. I quit using it pretty much immediately, decided to just do pixel art instead. And they gave me credit for it, but it wasn't necessarily what they wanted me to do. After using this one, though, I watched 2 tutorials on it. It became incredibly easy to use, because everything else is fairly intuitive. There we go.
Well, I don't trust this site.
Hmm?
Oh, it's PC Mag, which fair. But they're like, oh yeah, here's Adobe Photoshop. We're gonna give it a 5.0 as exemplary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust your reviews. Like, you can trust our reviews. You gave Adobe Photoshop 5.0. No, I cannot.
Well, it's always been very entertaining whenever I see people compare the two, because they basically say in their reviews, Affinity in both Photoshop and Designer or Illustrator, like, Affinity is the better of the two, and then it says, but we still recommend using Photoshop because it's industry standard. Well, but if you do that, then of course they're going to be industry standard because you're not puffing for chain.
Yeah, because that's how they get their money from. Oh, what's that? Yes, Ghost. I remember the days of Macromedia Flash 8, and even older. It's Bridge died again apparently. Again and again. Again and again and again and again. That fridge is the bane of existence.
What's happening here? Have I created are there 3 nodes here? No, there's not. There are 2 nodes here, which is very confusing.
Well, I mean, or you could keep fixing your fridge yourself, or you could pay your 2K for your technician. And don't you have like amazing insurance? Like all the insurances? That's what they say, right?
Insurance is mostly a scam.
I tend to agree, but they're required by socialist countries. I mean, wait, what? Oops, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm out of coffee in my cup. I don't have any. Well, I do have some alcohol in the place. But yeah, no. As Go said, that's the word shit's okay. If you want to say the word fuck, it'd be okay too. This is not a family-friendly channel. I do try to not swear, but you know, when it discourages behavior, sure. But I'm also not gonna like lambaste somebody for swearing because we're adults here, right?
It's a free country, supposedly.
I mean, keep your rifle by your side, though.
That's why I said supposedly.
That's how we keep it a free country, is by keeping your rifle by your side.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ghost. Unfortunately, they already took your taxes out of your everything. They'll shoot you if you try hard enough to not pay your taxes. They never admit it though, but I'm apparently in a mood tonight. Jeez Louise. My goodness. I'm just kind of like, I'm just like edgy boy tonight. Just like,
There we go.
I shouldn't be so, and I shouldn't be doing such on a stream, I suppose. But hey, I'm just being honest, yo. Just if you don't pay your taxes, they will send force. They will use force. And are the censors going to stop me from talking? Well, that's fine. They already did. So, like, whatever. I have nothing to say. So I have everything to say.
Wait, let me do this real quick.
I will not name my co-conspirator. I will not. What is that? I am part of a perfectly normal Discord community. And no, I will not name my co-conspirators. You fat. Anyway, that one is a bit too far even for me to say out loud. Well, yeah, but then there's that off person that might watch it later on that would. And if they did, well, look, there's a reason why I have the markers, conspiracies, and now I'm adding as a new general marker is tradecraft, because I'm making a point here, and whether or not it works is an interesting thing that I'm going to be in turn observing myself. I'm screwing myself over, and I know I am, and I don't care. I'm at the stage where I don't care anymore. I should care. I don't care. What are they gonna do?
So one of the fun things that I've learned, I realized what I'm missing. One of the fun things that I've learned is if you select a curve in this and then you just decide to apply a brush like this, it'll just automatically apply it to the curve. I learned that when doing the hair of my last one.
Ooh.
And you can just adjust the size like that. And that will be that. So you see how there's a white highlight there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just done that and messed with the opacity. Not yet.
It will stop the motor of the world.
Come on.
Well, I mean, so Ghost, the thing is that well, okay, so look, I'm trying not to say yes, but I'm saying that that's the direction we're heading for. Speaking of tradecraft, he says. But yeah, to circle that back to what you were saying there, Anime Witch. Yeah, look, this is why I'm sitting here with Media Detective and went stream this so we can watch it, because I want to watch it myself and have someone talk through it live, because it's neat. And honestly, I need to learn better of the details myself. It's always about improving, right? So
I will say the other thing that I like to do is I use the pen tool to make the shape, and then I use the node tool over here, which is 2 up, which then allows me to edit the curve to actually be the way I need to. So I just get a rough shape with the pen, and then I refine it with the node.
oh, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, if real words, there's something you can do that might, I don't know how to like export or manipulate it properly just yet, but in Stable Diffusion, there's this thing that might help you with this process. And again, I don't know how to like export that. Well, no, I see where there's an pretty easy way to do it. There's this thing, this what's what I'm looking for? This add-on extension. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Called InPaint Anything.
Mhm.
And what it can do is, by pretty much dropping, like if I had that image there for you, right, from you, right, I can pretty much put dots in those sections on the say the what you're working on right now with the tattoos,
Mhm.
and it would create a mask for those sections easily.
Oh, you're
I
gonna
think
laugh.
You were able to do it pretty simply too, but still.
So I'm gonna do something real quick. You're gonna laugh
Why am I gonna lie?
because Affinity Photo 2, the Photoshop equivalent,
Yeah.
it has an in-painting brush.
Cool.
I don't have the ability to do it on this one, I don't think, because it's vector-based graphics and not like Photoshop. But
Oh, fair. I'm just saying that like there are many tools to do many things in many ways. And I happen to know of a tool that may be useful that you didn't know about. So I was just trying to feel better about myself. No, it was more of just a, hey, in case you didn't know about this thing.
well, I know Photoshop has it's called Content Aware Filter, and the in-painting is Affinity's response to it.
Well, in-painting is the actual term that's to be used. So
Oh, is it?
screw what Photoshop talks about. Well, no, in-painting, the in-paint thing is that I'm talking about is something related to, as I said before, Stable Diffusion. It's specifically, it's not, well, it's specifically used here in the context of what is it called? I forget the name of this thing that I'm using now. It's not, Stable Diffusion's the model, but the thing itself, and I'm spacing right now. What is this thing called?
I don't know.
Automatic 1111. So automatic with 4 ones following it. And it's stable diffusion, but it's automatic 1111 is the name of the like the GUI itself. And so it has extensions like in painting. And in painting's the idea of say, hey, select this area, select this area, select this area. Or, select this type of area, what this looks like, and then it'll do it.
Yeah.
And then you could basically use it. The in painting brush allows you then to do, in painting where you just say, I can only allow modifying of this area. So the thing about like stable diffusion and what have you is that it's just kind of an advanced version, a more automatic in a manner of speaking, but still it's more like an advanced version of what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say advanced, I mean like technologically advanced, not necessarily more advanced technique, although one might make an argument.
I'm not offended. I'm completely new to this, so.
Well, no, what I mean is like the actual like application of the technique, it arguably speaking is more both technologically and perhaps materially more advanced, only because it requires more sort of I'm trying to look for. Like there are different techniques types. It's kind of like how, what you're doing is technically more advanced than working with clay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's that sort of like when that's what I mean to clarify what I'm kind of going at there. Not like, oh, you pleb, you're manually doing it and what? No, but it's like the advancement of the techniques and such. So it's kind of again, it's the same sort of like evolution of things, because I can go on an entire tirade about like people who hate the idea of generative LLM generative diffusion type artwork stuff. Just
yeah,
they're retarded. I'm sorry. I at this point in time, I'm gloves off. We're after hours. They're stupid. It's like, oh, it's not the same. Well, it's not the same, no shit. But it's not art. It's not artistry. It's like there's technique involved. There are different types of techniques. Still artistry involved.
What was entertaining, I actually had a conversation about this with someone I worked with in my previous job.
Yeah.
Because she's at the school to study. Where'd that go?
Oh.
There it is. She's studying storyboard artistry.
Yeah.
And so her and I had a conversation about it, and I kept saying, I'm not trying to invalidate your opinion or experience. I'm simply just trying to interrogate it so you can defend it better. But one of her arguments was very entertaining. Was that the AI uses not specific things, but it takes from artists without their permission to learn from. And I said, all right, but here's a counter argument, because I do have a counter argument for that one. Don't you do the same thing when you go to a museum?
Yep. Did during your own studies.
And she responded with, well, they can't come up with anything original. And I said, all right, well, and again, I'm not trying to invalidate, I'm just trying to come up with a point. Just so you understand where people are coming from. You can make an argument that there are no new things in the world. Everything is derivative of everything else. This is not a new idea either. This goes back to ancient Greece. So, and it ultimately boiled down to her being frustrated because it could potentially put her out of a job. And I said, that makes sense. I'm not trying to say that. Yeah, I'm saying I'm not. I told her, I said, I'm not trying to say that you're not allowed to be frustrated, but
I mean, if you let's put it this way. If you're in that circumstance, and with respect to the struggle that you are having as a human being for folks in that position, and I do say this with that respect and that caveat there, the fact of the matter is that we are progressing, and if you are unwilling to progress as it is, utilize the technology to your advantage, and that technique that goes with that technology to your advantage, if you end up, quote, losing your job, as it were, or being put out as a result of this, you opted to be put out. Especially the where things are currently at. if you were like nearing retirement sort of thing, and you're like, okay, fine. But if you're an up and comer, because you're talking to somebody who's in school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have no argument for that. That's not an argument. Well, I could be put out of a job, then learn new skills.
That was one of the things that I've been trying to do is as a writer.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, well, writing is going to go by the wayside due to AI. So not necessarily. It's just writers have to adapt to how AI can affect it. And if I'm going to be a writer and I'm going to use AI, and AI is in competition with me, might as well use it as a tool instead of fight it.
Well, then have it in competition with you. It's not in competition with you. It's a tool that you can utilize very effectively. And in my case, it's a tool that I'm utilizing extensively so that AI can have a team that learns how to write better, for one thing. And that's a different story entirely. But also so that I can get shall we say, the amount of content that I'm looking for out in the duration of time that I want with a much, much, much smaller team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's take a point here is that, so I could arguably perform the technique that you're applying here. Like, I could have easily done the research to do the technique that you're applying here. And I say that easily, and I say that not because it's an easy technique, but because I have confidence in my skills. Like, this day, I could do what you're doing. Why? Because I could learn what you're doing. I could spend the time to learn what you're doing if I wanted to. And in fact, watching you, I've got an idea. My hand wouldn't be the perfect first time, but I could figure it out rather quickly if I spent the time to do so. It's not a, and again, is it in no sense saying that the techniques, you could learn the techniques that I use for the Stable Diffusion application, stuff like that as well. Like, it goes both ways. You could learn the programming stuff I do if you really felt the need to, is where I'm going with that. You might not think so, but you could. And so I say that to say this, is that since that is the case, now different people have different predilections and there's different learning scales and different preferences and all that stuff, for sure. But I'm saying all that to say, with the interchangeability of skills, as it were, where was I going? Shoot, I lost my train of thought in the middle of my train of thought. I was trying to justify the train of thought, and I got lost with it. But where I'm overall going with this is that, however, I chose to develop my skill sets in the direction of coding, in the direction now of the Stable Diffusion, and honestly, a portion of it's kind of being spent towards, honestly, human management type stuff, like that sort of thing, where I'm trying to get people in the right place, kind of feel out where people go, and trying to do the director stuff of stuff as well, right? And I have all these other things that are in my wheelhouse. Well, I also don't have the resources to start off, like, as it were. Like, I couldn't get a team of like a bunch of people doing what you're doing, because look at how long this is going to take you to get this thing to where you want it to be. Now, originally per article, I was going with 3 images, which was in itself too much for me to do properly, and I found that out. So now I'm doing 2 images per article, and that's per build, and that comes out to at this point in time, because it's three posts per week, to 6 images. How many hours is this one image going to take you, even in using a template?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this one's taken me maybe an hour and a half so far.
Yeah, but I mean, in total, how long do you think it's going to take you?
Probably a few, maybe 4.
Yeah, maybe 4, and then that's for your like initial, and then you're probably going to want to do a little bit more modifications to it.
Yeah.
So that's, again, 6 images and we use the minimum point there for 4. So 6 times 4 is what? Let's see, math. 24, right? 6, 12, yeah, 24. So could you spend 24 hours in a week?
Potentially.
But do you have other things you need to get done?
Currently, no.
Oh, well, that's fair.
I quit my job so I could see my girlfriend.
That's fair. Okay, well, fair. Oh, and isn't that sweet? No, I mean that a little bit. Oh. But yeah, okay. So, but that's a pretty exceptional situation in and of itself too.
Yeah.
So while maintaining all the other stuff, it ends up being in this sort of thing where it's like, okay, well, do I have 24 hours to spend in addition? Well, no. And that's 24 hours in total, and that's it. It probably ends up being, because of other wrapping up stuff and other elements that need to be tied into with the images, it probably ends up being in itself closer to honestly, 30 to 40 hours. Because again, you know all the additive stuff. So there's the stuff that you wouldn't count.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff that you wouldn't even think about counting, right? So it's one of those things. It's a full-time job to try and do that. Well, but I also have to do all the writing, and in this case, using generative AI to do that process. But still, I would have to do all the writing too. We're already at like 30 hours plus easy. So, and that number just keeps going up and up and up and up. Now, on the other hand, am using programmatic and the techniques and tools for AI stuff, right? And that's for both images and for writing and then having that curated. I'm still spending that much time on developing those tools. But once those tools are developed, well, now I have less of the time spent on generating the stuff, but more of the time spent curating the stuff, you see. So it's I can do a lot more with a lot fewer people. Whereas I'd have to have like a team of you to do the sort of rate that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, which again,
Well,
I would have to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like I've said, I've been playing with AI in the same way to try and adapt properly so that I can pump out things faster if my clients or whoever I'm working with or for needs it to be.
Yeah.
In fact, I might use AI to help finish up a screenplay that I'm mostly done with. I'm 30 pages away, and I can very easily pump out 10 pages a day using an AI.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm nodding. I know you can't see me because I don't know if you. Well, you do have a second screen, don't you?
Not on my laptop. No.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Well, then my bad. I've been going for some nonverbal reactions and assuming that you could see them.
That's all right.
But yeah. No, and it's it's just one of those things where that tool it's a tool and it should be like to shy away from it. It's just a foolish choice. And like Ghost said earlier, you have to.
Hello, Vixen.
So, Anime Witch, who's also Vixen, says, "Wait, you have clients? Sorry to ask it. Sorry if it sounds rude, but your really good image, your art goes for $300 plus."
I don't have clients yet. This is just me noodling around and learning, but I will eventually have clients. Not for art, for writing, but
The follow up with I imagine, like as in it goes for 300.
potentially.
Oh, I understand now. Okay, so there was a leap of statements that I missed because I kind of like got zoned because I was listening to reading something, which means I was listening it while I was trying to listen at the same time, which doesn't work very well. Yes, when I read somebody's words, I listen to them in my head because I want to try and mull it over and see what they're saying. Phone can't type. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's more like I said. It's me trying to like jump too many sharks at once for my interpretation right now. Plus, I am whipped exhausted too. I'm sitting here just falling asleep because today was. I won't burden it, but today was a day. Today was a day. It involved. I basically. So normally I break like 4,000-ish steps, 4,500 steps in a day. Today I broke like 10,000. And this is after a fairly sedentary life for a while, for a couple of years. So not in the best shape, to be honest, but it's the sort of thing where it's like, and today was a work on one system, one server, go over to the other server, do something there, go back, forth. So because like, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to sleep. Sleep now. Sleep.
I'm almost done with the face. And once I'm done with the tattoos, I'm going to start working on coloring it.
Yeah, I like how the your mod to the nose occurred. You just where you told me you
Which
didn't
one?
even touch the nose. No, the character's right nostril, Sora left. You're like, I didn't touch it.
Oh,
Well, you did. So meh, it appears differently.
yeah, this bit.
Yeah.
That was just for the mouth bit because every mouth had, and I'm tempted, but I'm not convinced yet to do whatever this is. I don't remember the name for it. But this bit,
Cleft? No, cleft is the. Is it?
that's the chin.
Yeah, that's the chin that has a cleft. But isn't like that bit there a different word for it? And then they have like the term
There's
cleft.
something for it. I don't remember.
I know what the term. I know it has a term. I know that much, but I don't remember either, and I can't be bothered to try actually remember. Which is silly, because I should remember. Moon Elf has dragon tattoo below right eye, because blood and family's blood was cursed by a dragon deity, a dragon god. I hesitate to use the word in context because my brain doesn't want to. It doesn't want to read it that way. Because of a conversation I had with Ghost earlier, which is a fair conversation still. Ooh, maybe I should play Metal Gear Rising some more. Not now, but man, I missed the update for freaking NMS though, No Man's Sky, and I'm bummed about that because I should have. But I should still like play some of it. But
I haven't played No Man's Sky in a bit.
yeah, me either. I do love No Man's Sky. I just haven't played in a hot minute. So you're saying, oh, it's. I thought that's one of the projects you were working on there, Ghost. And then the first dragon tattoo moon elf is for a 3.5 character. There. Oh, the tracing. Okay, so you uploaded your old stuff for my request because I still need to train a model or figure out how to train a model on it. But you did upload some of it to retrace it if you wanted to. So it's called iteration, Ghost. You know this.
There we go. Fixed it.
Also, I don't know if I necessarily would say bad. I would say was in development. I know, and I'm saying that it's not. I mean, again, I would agree with the enemy which there. It's not bad, but I'd also say you have uploaded it, and you can go and trace it in the manner as well to then in turn reinterpret it, basically, which is what you're talking about trying to do is reinterpreting it.
By the way, in case you were curious as to what happened with my last job, that was kind of an entertaining one. I was invited to a wedding for an ex-roommate of mine.
Huh?
Around the same time I was planning on seeing my girlfriend. And she didn't want me to be working while she was in the town that I was in. So I asked for the time off, and I was kind of approved for that time, sort of. And I believed I had also requested off the time for the wedding, but because of the way the system had worked, I had accidentally requested off the beginning of the week of the month instead of the beginning week of the next month for a 2-week block. Yeah, and I didn't realize that until like the day before, which was annoying. And so my boss called me and he said, "Listen, I can't approve this. You're asking for 15 days." And I said, "Technically, I'm asking for 14 and a half." But he said, "Well, that's 15 days." And I said, "Okay." He said, "We have," because I was working for a movie theater at the time. He said, "One of the days that you've requested off is a holiday, so we can't approve that, and it's also the weekend that Despicable Me 2 comes out. Not 2, 4, sorry. And I can't request that either because that's going to be busy." And I basically said, well, unfortunately, the tickets are packed. I bought. I can't fix it. And I did kind of lie a little bit, and I said that with my level of involvement in the wedding, I had to be out there for the full 2 weeks, when that wasn't necessarily true. It was just me wanting to be
Yeah,
out
it's
there
true.
with
No, it's necessarily
my
true. No, it's necessarily true. It's
girlfriend.
necessarily true because you get to declare your level of involvement. So if it's that important to you to be out there, then it's that important to be out there. It's not a lie. I'm just giving you.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the plausible deniability. I'm going to be strong about that one because it's not a lie because you need to be out there to be that involved with it. Your level of involvement is what you get to do. When you declare your level of involvement in something, whether or not it's the expected from some other portion or not, it does not matter. Like you get to determine your level of involvement in something. So if you're no, I'm out here, I can't pull myself away. I'm needed to be here. Well, that's your declaration. You get to declare that. So give yourself that authority is what I'm trying to say. You weren't lying because you declared it yourself, and you have the authority over your own time. Sorry, but you have the authority to say I'm that involved in this thing that I need to be there for this entire period of time, regardless of what.
There we go.
So gosh darn it, ah.
How's that for
Claim it.
the light highlight?
Oh,
See that?
freaking awesome! Yeah.
Just had to drag it above the tattoos. But yeah, so after a while, he said, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, all right, I'll see what I can do to see if I can move anything around, but it's probably not likely anything's going to happen. And so nothing was said for a couple days, and then I had to tell him that, unfortunately, things were pretty set and I couldn't do anything. So I came up with 2 solutions, neither of which he was going to like. The first one was that he suspends my employment until I get back in the fall, specifically in September.
Okay.
And he didn't like that. I said the other oops.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I said the other solution I had was that I could tender my resignation effective the day that I was meant to leave, the beginning of my vacation. After that, it was his choice. And he said that they don't do employee suspensions like that, which kind of made my choice clear. You know?
I mean, there are ways you could have probably handled that, but fair enough.
Potentially, but that was the between there and that in there. There we go. But that was
Oh yeah, that's what I was supposed to do. Darn it.
that's what ended up happening.
So then, thus, you tendered your resignation as a result of this.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it's a little better than what I did. I mean, I had less of an excuse, though. You at least were doing it for the sake of a, you know. I just had enough, basically, is what it came down to. So, because did I tell you about? I don't know if I kept it abreast, and it's public info at this point in time, anyway. So, but yeah, so basically, what ended up happening with my own situation. So I was working where I was doing the support gig for Microsoft. It's more levels involved, but that's the summary of it. And the company in question, and again, they'll remain fairly anonymous. There's no point to name and shame, right? There's no point. And so the company in question, the contractor company in question, basically they yanked my chain for far too long. They rolled out something that was basically to give a pay hike every 6 months. So the 6-month one came up, and it was fine. And the year one came up, and they dragged their feet for like 3 or 4 months. Like seriously, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we're looking into it. We're looking into it. Like you're having an issue. And they come back and first they come back and go through my manager at the time. They come back and go, yeah, right. They come back and go, oh well, yeah, we were confused on what your actual start date is because there were some complexities that occurred when you were moving. Due to when I moved out here, there were some issues that happened, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, because basically I had to delay in getting moved, and it screwed up my start date, my actual start date, because I was contractor and they cut me over to full time. But I had to move out of state. I had to move to a different state that they could support if I wanted to get that full time position, which is what I did because I had my reasons. Anyway, so they were supposedly confused about what my actual start date was. Okay, fine. I can accept that answer. It's okay. Like 2 months pass, and I'm pushing in every week on my manager, going, "Hey, what's the story? What's the story?" Oh, they're investigating. And again, to be fair to her, I believe that she was doing what she was supposed to do there. Well, then it comes down to where I get told, "Oh, well, you're at or above the expected rate for your position," which was never part of what the aforementioned program that they rolled out had included. That wasn't a clause. It was you'll get a pay hike at 6 and at 12 and then at 18, or is it 18 or 16? I forget. It doesn't matter exactly what it was. You'll basically get a negotiated, depending upon what the needs of the company are, of getting a pay hike at that point in time until you get, unless you get promoted or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's fair, but we got to the year mark. That's also why I use Arch as part of the standing tags, by the way. But anyway, so they said that, and it's like, no. And then at the end of the week, I ended up in a spot where I was somebody left the company, and of course, because a lot of people were leaving in droves, and so I was covering somebody's shift that was working weekends. Well, I didn't really want to work weekends. No, I'm already working with an abusive company. I don't want to work weekends for these jerk-offs. Additionally, but otherwise, my manager, who I had great respect for at the time, was going to have to work it, and I wasn't going to be that guy. Like, it was just one of those things where, unless the things were really, really terrible and I was already quitting, I wasn't going to be that guy that was going to leave her high and dry. I just wasn't. I have more loyalty than that. I felt like I owed her something. I paid that debt in full as far as I'm concerned, but we'll walk that back in a second. So I end up in this space where they're like, well, you have to give your personal phone number to the client, so you have to call the client about this situation and give your personal phone number to the client, because we don't have, your remote, your desktop doesn't have the ability to make calls out. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. In fact, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. I'll give you the courtesy of the 2 weeks, and be glad that I'm not quitting right now for that demand. Because I warned them the previous week when I was briefed on this, going, wait, am I supposed to are you suggesting that I give my personal phone number to one of the clients? Is that what you're suggesting here? That's not acceptable. That's not part of the terms. They're like, oh, well, whatever. And I'm like, no, that's not part of the terms. I'm like, oh, and I got ignored when I brought up my concern.
Yeah.
So primarily it was honestly because of the fact that they weren't going to honor their word, and they lied a lot. That company lied a lot to keep people around.
I know.
And so ultimately my answer to that was like, okay, well, you've just lied to me again. I've been telling you guys this sort of like deception for the past, I don't know, it was like a year or so. Wasn't gonna fly, because I don't, I only have so much tolerance for being deceived, right? And again, we're talking like irrepentant deception, right?
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing where it's like, oh yeah, no, we won't do it again. We're doing better. This is now, it goes beyond just the incompetent sort of problem, which is my original allowance. It goes into straight out deception. They were lying to us. They didn't have any plan to go through with what they were selling. Plus the rumors that were saying that they didn't want remote workers anymore. Yeah. Well, so I'm going to say this, is that for one thing, you do have to give your personal phone number to some employers sometimes. So I won't say never, ever. But I will say if they abuse it, you abuse back effectively. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted by something. What I'm trying to say is that if it depends upon the job that you're in as well. It depends on what you mean by personal phone number. Like, it's one of those, like, I will go there and go, well, depends. Because contextually, there are certain elements where you should do it. There are certain times you shouldn't do it. There's an argument to be said that if you're expected to use a phone number for a job, you should almost certainly. Well, no. The thing is that that's still technically a personal phone number. Like, it's the categorical what Ghost is saying is that by giving them your phone number, you're giving them power to access you outside of time that you want to have control. And they're also costing you money that's a business expense that they should be paying for. So, well, and then on the other hand, the mint, that sort of thing. But so Ghost is actually saying what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that I would actually escalate the same principle. If you're going to accept that position, if you're going to take that position, I would escalate that even further and say you should compel the organization that's asking you to call your number for a work phone. Now, on one hand. But on the other hand, effectively speaking, on a practical level, that is not exactly an option. So it's a catch-22. And you're right. Burner phones are a fair answer. And that to say Mint Mobile is a fair answer. Same idea. But I would contend that being available in such regards is an alluring position to take as well. Also an abusable position. You put yourself out there. So, but what I'm going to say more is, regardless of what the line you put is, like, put a line. But stand by that line. So you get to put the line wherever the hell you want to put the line. But wherever you put the line, stand by it. So if it's no, I'm not going to give my personal number to the client, I'll give it to my employer, but not the client, that's one thing. If you want to go as far as I won't give it to anyone, that's fair, but I'm also going to say now you've shifted things into a low trust environment intentionally. And I am not a fan of moving society towards low trust. So that's why you'll get me to push back against that point, is I'll say, well, do you want to live in a low trust world? I mean, it is a low trust world, effectively, right? But do you want to live in one? How do you change that? By showing trust. So, and by showing trust in a manner that you can, shall we say, mitigate the losses. Well, giving a number is a way to mitigate those losses. I mean, you can mitigate those losses. Controlling that to an element, it's one of those things where if you try and keep these things so separated, you end up screwing over everything. So, no, and I get you there too. And like I said before, I get the point there. Absolutely, Ghost. I mean, I wouldn't be working with you on all the things if I didn't. But it's one of those spots where my philosophical stance becomes split between two spaces. On one hand, I go, yeah, personal privacy is super important, and true or effective anonymity is a useful tool and mechanism to have. But on the other hand, in order to operate in the public sphere, you really have neither. And as we both know, the notion of security is merely an illusion. So if you value too much security over liberty, as it were, you fall right into the hands of tyrants just as much if you do not value them enough. So there's a space that's the comfortable median. It's more or less where I'm going on the philosophical. Now, the thing is that the individual gets to declare where that space is. The level of comfort up to each individual. That's where I would go. The suggestion is noted, a fair suggestion, but also, is it really the aim of what one should be seeking for the general population? One of those, again, it goes both ways. Because the problem becomes who watches the watchers, right? I don't know how I turned it all around to that, but yeah.
How's that for an eyeball?
I appreciate the particular choice of the dimensionality in the what is it, not cuticle, but the base. I don't know if it might be a little overstated.
This bit here.
Yeah, but not by far. And it's not like I'm not saying it's distracting either, which is the more
Well,
important part.
I was going to say the other thing I can do is I can actually bring it down a bit, just with opacity.
Fair. And again, it's not like it's super distracting. Actually, I like that better because then now you have where it's got the, and it could also be that I'm wearing sunglasses. So, so again, you just, well, and I just want to put the caveat there for, shall we say, light sensitivity on it. So whether or not I'm seeing precisely, it's just that where it was black before or it was like a super dark before was it caught the eye. But again, with the caveat of it's not super distracting. Like I don't think it takes away from the composition, which is where I actually have some visual background on, like some actual training on. Even though it's been a hot minute, I still have some training on it, so I can make that claim. Ooh, that's neat.
Let's see if I can do this so you can actually see what I've done.
There it goes. Well, yeah, no.
Put that in there, please. Thank you. There we go. So that's the artwork versus the original. Do you see it?
Yeah. That's
so
trippy.
But just the way that it flattens out like that.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I'm gonna do. So I keep. Where'd I put it? Why? It's saying there's no stroke. There we go.
So, about Gulch.
There we go.
Ghost. That's what we need to talk about. Is setting up Gulch.
So I removed the line there.
Yeah.
So now it should be a bit more 3Ds in the flat space. Kind of see it?
Yeah, I kind of see it. I saw it before too, where you're going for as well. The dimensionality of the eyeball, which is why you need to have the gap to give it dimensionality. Oh, that reminds me, heat. Heat as a dimension. Or was it energy? I don't remember which way you were saying that. I think you were saying heat as a dimension there. To discuss or to thing, yeah. So you fucking mad lad, like I see where you're going on that. I don't know if we could materially call it as such, but mathematically it makes perfect sense from a perspective sort of thing. But I would also argue that isn't. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The Wolf, the next comment. Hey, I'm staring at you just as much, mate. I am staring just as much at you as that. Because you keep on doing it too. As you were saying earlier that overlaid that Wolf Linux will be definitely see soon, however, we will be an ascend above arch. Yes.
I won't do that.
Right. I know you have about the heat, but now we flip back to the heat as a field dimension. I know you have, which is why I said, mathematically speaking, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Jumping between two fucking topics simultaneously. And I'm juggling like 3. Ooh, neat. Like, almost. Oh, what's the shoot? Oh, no.
Don't worry, he's not bleeding from the eye. I can fix that.
I feel like I might be though. But I think it's the octo horse that's caused it.
So basically, all I did was I put it in the nest here for the left eye,
Mhm.
and I moved it to the bottom layer, so everything is now built on top of it.
Nice.
So I know what I'm doing. Kind of.
Do you?
Kind of.
Yay! Oh, jeez. What have you done? All right, so look, I'm gonna open this in a browser, and I'm gonna have this in the actual browser. Let's take a look at this madness that live on this.
Jeez.
All right.
I
So
pretend that I understand math.
well, you're the one here between the two of us that's gone to some college, right?
Not for maths.
Was there math involved?
Not really, no.
Then it must have surface variety of factors. So here's the thing about dimensionality. Doesn't dimensionality require it to not have a surface? Like to be infinite or an infinite surface, an infinite field type thing? Ooh. Yeah, honestly, there's a moment there where I was kind of considering the direction too. But the problem is that I know business majors and I don't want to deal with them. Like, simple put. Like, the people who are business majors, I just don't want to freaking. I'm sorry. No. I'll be personable. But no. Angry face.
What am I doing?
I'll be gregarious and personable and all that, but hypersurface. Okay. I see what you're saying there. Because the thing is that, well, it's a surface, but it's a specific variety of surface that's beyond the dimensionality of the lower dimensions. So, because it's a surface that a hypersurface is a surface from a higher dimensions perspective. We're not looking from a higher dimensions perspective, so we wouldn't actually get to the edge of the field. Like the field itself, although ostensibly speaking, it would have an infinite surface. So, as in like that, the ever expanding, matching the expansion of the universe, arguably, because space-time, the nature of space-time is how I'm thinking dimensionality is. So, which means from our perspective within space-time, well, now you're suggesting heat space-time, but energy space-time. Wait, isn't space-time composed of energy?
Yes.
So
If I understand correctly.
You're effectively trying to define the echelon above space-time. But you're looking at it from the perspective of space-time above space, like of the field range above the field range. So space-time is composed of energy, and then which in turn is a higher echelon, and then above that is a higher. Yes, I do. So where does space-time exist in this? Because right now I'm seeing concentric circles in my head. Well, concentric hyper spheres, but close enough. Which is making my nose bleed, just so you know. My eyes are starting to bleed too. Okay. I mean, because when we start because I don't like I said before, you mentioned it as heat, but what is heat? Heat is expression of excited states, which is caused by energy, basically influx. So therefore, it's the vibrational frequencies, right? Therefore, we are not speaking about heat; we are speaking about energy. Because in speaking about heat, we're speaking about energy. Like effectively synonymous. Like an over amount of heat is energy.
Sorry, I just did that.
Oh, I feel like there's a comment that I would make there that would get me banned from like 10,000 platforms.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Which I'm edgy and all, but I can't actually put the thing in words myself, so because brain tired. So
I've got an idea of how I'll do this. The shadow, I mean.
I'm waiting for you to finish typing before I continue with a response. Also, of all songs, freaking A. I mean, I'm gonna let her play because, ouch. But, ouch. The key lyric to the song is "A broken heart aches all the time." Yeah, I guess. It still exists on a level above space-time, and will then due to mass 2 via gravity. Oh, yes. Well, and what I'm saying is that space-time is composed of energy, and heat is energy. So, which energy does bend due to mass. I don't know if it's via gravity, though. That's a conceit that I have to agree upon, merely because I don't have a better... I can't posit anything better. But is it gravity, or is it rather... Because, again, there's that compelling theory in regards to it instead of being magnetism of some sort, or the attractive forces, right?
How's that for a shadow?
I feel like the nose would need more, or is that just a basic outline? Not, I mean, like coming off the nose, Like if the light's coming from the right side, which is what you have it as, like the nose would be casting its own shadow.
I can do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like for the gradient, you've got the face's shadow of itself, but then you have the nose's shadow itself casting a deeper, darker shadow.
Yeah, I can fix that.
Yeah. Oh, it's not really fixing. I'm just saying, like, when you, and to be fair, you asked my opinion. Shaping wise, though, I do appreciate, because like I said, I've got a little bit of background in that sort of thing, whatever, the composition stuff. So I know some ideas.
Talking about gravity.
Brains, what's that? Okay. So am I having to do both the left and the right brain stuff at the same time?
Essentially.
You know, this leads to some levels of psychosis, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, just saying, like the brain barrier stuff starts breaking down at a certain point with this. Plus, I'm starting to get sleep deprived, so I'm not going to bed yet because I'm still busy. Too busy. He's telling Div this. He's just telling Div this. So yeah, okay. So on one panel, I've got, my goodness. All right, so look, this is a layout of my brain right now. Basically, on one panel, I've got the work that you're doing there on the stream, the work that you're doing there, media, on the stuff that you're working on. On one panel, I've got the coding stuff, which I'm not really touching right now, but the OSS, which has the coding stuff for the site, which I need to be working on. On one panel, I have the psychosis of Ghost, for lack of a better term, with the working on developing a unified field theory, just casually. That's what we're working on here, apparently. Just what's happening. I don't know. And then on another one, there's a fourth little spot there that has a my developing images for the site, kind of sort of. That's just rough drafts, right? As I tweak and modify the prompts to produce the thing I'm trying to build, make it appear there. I've kind of given up on it, and I'm going to have to redo all of it on Friday, or on Saturday rather. The fact is, I'm still trying until that point in time. That's happening. And then, of course, there's the screen with my face, and then there's the screen that's the chat of us here. and like basically representing the Discord stuff. The point that I'm trying to make here is that this is like a splat of my brain right now, and I'm not sure if I'm okay with everything that's going on with it. But here we are. All right, it's not a field directly, or we could force it to do so by fusing with the weak force field in an electro-weak field. Okay. So I see what you're saying there, but what I'm making as a result of that, what I'm making the argument is that electromagnetism ends up being a higher echelon field, as it were, in the manner that you're describing as for heat. So that's kind of where I'm going with the nature of it saying energy, I suppose, in a manner. It's not exactly precise, but it's the idea there. We have this idea that, you know, like you're proposing heat as a field, and I'm going, well, but heat represents energy. And does it represent energy, or does it represent electromagnetism? Magnetism? Does it, like, where is it actually in this crazy universe of ours, as it were? Does it make sense what I'm trying to say? I mean, no, I'm grasping at straws right now because I'm barely freaking thinking at this point.
Hold on, let me see if I'm understanding the basic principles right. Is that we understand typically that heat is at least generated from the presence of energy. The question then is whether or not the heat is electromagnetism itself, or if it's a subsect of it. Is that correct, or am I completely off base?
That's effectively what I'm asking, but the premise we were starting on was closer to is heat, or is not heat energy? Is the
I would say it's a form of energy, but it's not the end all be all.
Right. See, that's kind of the thing that's kind of in discussion there.
Okay.
So because
I wanted to make sure I was understanding properly.
Well, the operational theory that's being proposed is that heat itself is a field, and heat itself is a dimension kin to space-time, or in line with space-time, or rather superlative of space-time. So, you know, you've got space-time, which is where we're at, and then it's composed of, which is in turn composed of, which is in turn composed of. So, are you familiar with like how hypercubes work?
Hypercubes, that's the visualization of the fifth dimension, or the fourth dimension, right?
Yeah.
I'm vaguely familiar with how it's supposed to look like. I can see it in my head.
Yeah, the idea of what it is, because of course, being that we're not fourth dimensional beings, you know, operationally fourth dimensional beings, or fifth dimensional beings, as it were, we actually could not comprehend it because it's beyond our dimensionality. Ow, my brain just melted because I can visualize it. I know what it's supposed to look like in so far as we're able to conceptualize it, but even so, it's not accurate. Because it could not be accurate, because again, are we within the higher echelon compounds? Now, it shows something about human capability, the human capability of the human mind and kind of existence, that we could even scratch the surface, pardon the pun, of hypercubes. You know, of the shall we say, the hyper elements, you know, beyond our own dimensional awareness or existence. But in the same regards, it is beyond our ken as well, I would say. I would argue. Like, we can talk about the concept. We can hypothetically say this is what it would be brought down to a lower echelon. But even then, it doesn't really do it what it actually would be justice. It's like trying to describe a cube, a regular cube, to a flatlander, right? To a two-dimensional existence. You just don't.
We watched that in math class.
Fair enough. Watch that. What?
Yeah, with Martin Sheen as the voice of the cube.
All I saw was I never watched anything that was that. I read it. How new is this thing?
At least before 2012.
Oh, you know when I went to high school?
I would assume somewhere in the 90s.
No, a little bit. I'm a little younger than that, but somewhere the early 2000s. So, 2000 to 2004, right? Math.
Okay.
It was a while ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you point out that was actually literally 30 years ago.
Oh, is it?
Is it 30 years ago? No, it's not 30 years ago. It's 20 years ago. I added an extra decade. It was 20 years ago because it's 2024. And I said 2004, so yeah, it's 20 years ago.
My brain doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
What? These aren't hard. Look, 2004 minus
I'm not
2024.
speaking mathematically. I'm speaking in terms of comprehending time. I'm aware that doesn't make much sense, but I have a hard time sometimes comprehending how much time has passed because it all feels very similar to me.
Oh no, that I understand. Like the thing I will say is that it feels to me as though it were yesterday, sometimes more literally than others. And then I climb up a case of stairs and my knees remind me that it was not yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Or I jump up what did I do the other week? I jumped up onto I think it was like 5, the height of it would have been like 5'6" or something. I stand about 6'1", 6'2" on a good day. And the thing itself, no, it was actually probably about 6 feet. Yeah, it was probably about 6-ish. The dock was like probably about 6 feet or whatever. And I hopped up. Oh no. Ghost missed the entire response to this. So what I went to say, if I can recall what I said, was electromagnetism would thus possibly be the field that you're attempting to describe by utilizing the term heat. Is kind of where I was going with that. Because I would say that heat is itself energy, and perhaps it's the unknown that is the question, and therefore perhaps the heat you're describing is electromagnetism because of that limited interaction with the Higgs field. But I'm proposing it that perhaps it is it. Perhaps they are the same.
In my understanding, to the implication is that the Higgs boson field is heat, or at least the understanding of it.
No, that electromagnetism is. The Higgs field is not impacted by, or not normally interacted with electromagnetism, was what Ghost saying. And so what I'm proposing in this thought process, this thought experiment, is that perhaps one of the requirements of a higher echelon dimensionality, e.g. this heat field that is spoken, the Higgs field is what gives mass to particles, is what Ghost just said to you.
Yeah. I understand that. It's the thing that binds everything.
It's the
supposedly.
force. Wait, what?
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it. It's an and not enigmatic. That's the wrong word. It's a field that my brain isn't working.
It's okay.
It's an energy field that binds matter together and separates one being from another.
Well, and the argument becomes either that the binding is actually the strong interaction, yet another field, says Ghost. And I'm just saying that perhaps what we're discussing here as heat is actually electromagnetism in a form. That's kind of what I'm in short terms saying. Yes, it does. Quantum field theory does get wild.
Yeah.
I honestly think that they go off the deep end quite a bit because to the nature of it is insanity, is madness. So, because it is the void that you're staring at that point, and the void stares back. Didn't I warn you about doing this, my friend? Because now you're dragging everyone into this madness. It's just like a spiral, and everyone goes down the hole.
That's awkward.
See, and that's where I would say that's where I'm saying that there needs to be that it where we are in this discussion not demands, but would point us in the question of saying, okay, so we have this heat field or this conceptual heat field, and we have this other concept of electromagnetism that seemingly have very similar, if not the same, properties. Are they the same? Because we can pretty accurately declare that we're searching for the simplest rules, right? Because those become the most likely to be the valid ones, right? Occam's razor, Kiss,
What's an 80s hair metal band have to do with it?
Occam's razor? It's the simplest explanation. They stole their name from the idea, so. But, the simplest explanation is usually the best. Something like that. Is that Occam's razor? I don't even know anymore. I'm too tired to think straight. Why am I too tired to think straight? Because today has been a day where I've been thinking the entire freaking day. And trying to wrap my head around stuff. Well, I mean, it's not just cold energy. It's painful energy.
I thought cold was the absence of energy. If heat is energy, if that's what we're on.
The statement is this: is that it would certainly explain why this is in response to about electromagnetism and possibly being heat. Effectively, it would certainly explain why dark energy is W equals -1. Cold. It's a cold energy is what W equals -1 means. To a question that nobody asked, but everyone needed answered. No, I mean it's a fair point to clarify this. So where I'm going with this, the statement though, is that the cold energy it's anti-energy. Because isn't that what that more gets at? If it's the negative, the opposite of energy, which in turn would be cold energy, but it's counter energy, which means anti-energy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unfortunately, I must away.
Oh no!
My girl's calling me.
All right, well, enjoy the talk. It's been a pleasure. Don't be a stranger.
Try not to be.
Appreciate you showing up in the first place.
Yeah. All right. How's that for an apple? Now that.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, I like it. How that kind of fits out.
I went for eyeliner.
The only thing that I'm going to make note of is that the positioning of the iris itself is a bit, and perhaps the actual thingy. It kind of does that flat effect. And honestly, it's a complaint that I oftentimes have on AI generated stuff. Is that the eye ends up in a space where it's not, where it's too. It's like it looks flat.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, and I don't know how to fix, but I'm just saying, I see that sort of. Go ahead.
Oh, I've got an idea, but with the way that the whole thing is, I'm not sure how I'm gonna implement it unless I do another one of these little wisps right on the edge there. This white stroke there. If I do that inside right there, and then make it really, really opaque. Not opaque, transparent.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Kind of like what I did with that. I might need to make that a bit bigger, at least fatter.
Because yeah, honestly, I see that. I legitimately see that problem on AI generated art. That's exact same issue on my AI generated art all the time, and I haven't really figured, other than arguing with it and just trying over. But you're not an AI to tell it to start over, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I see that like as a super common. I think it's looking maybe from this angle it's looking a little better or something because it does look a little better, but it's still a bit ish.
It's that light bit,
Yeah.
so I can fix that. I can do that. But
The one that's on the one that's on the right, on his right, our left, is that's good to go. That's fine.
yeah. It's probably because it's the same color, so I'll probably need to darken it.
Could be that. It could also be the size of it compared to the eye. It's like compared to the actual eye space. Like there's a bunch of factors that I can see that could be contributing to this. I'm not sure which it would need though.
How's that? Nah.
No. See, that's the part that gets weird about this is because I'm not sure. Like, and I hate to say it, I know it doesn't look right,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure,
Not sure how.
How. Yeah.
Oh, here's the other
hate
cool
that
thing. You see
feeling,
how the pupil is nested in this other ellipse?
Yeah.
Because of that, now I can manipulate both of them simultaneously.
Woo.
Photoshop does not do that. Neither does Adobe Illustrator. I do that.
I think you're getting
It's
there.
got to be size.
I think you're getting there. Yeah, like moving it up a little bit. Because in a way, I think that the actual pupil would be obscured, like with the way his face is, right?
Mhm.
And of course, me turning my head on the camera doesn't help you because you can't actually see my eyes. But the way that his face is, you would see less of his eye, basically, like between his or beneath his eyelid. Maybe again, it's not unnecessary, but you get what I'm saying. Like you would see less of his actual eye because his head's slightly turned.
Yeah.
So, and while it works fine in the original because it has the reflection, in this
without
context,
it.
yeah.
Right. Well, I'll save this. I'll save this and work on it for another day.
Yeah, because you got your yeah, I'll go talk to.
Yeah. Right. Have a good one.
You too. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Continue pontificating about physics and energy.
Oh, what is going on? I don't even know.
All right. I'll see you.
See ya. Cheers. All right. All right. We'll close that. No, that's not the right button. We'll return app and that'll make it disappear. All right. Okay, so let's take a look. See. So what are we looking at here? Unfortunately, this is the sort of thing where I can't read it aloud and fully comprehend what I'm reading. I'm not to that level just yet. And far be it for me to actually solve these things, like solve for these things. I just understand the concepts that we're talking about on a very high level. But I do see, okay. All right. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be one to like proof your math, so I'm going to take your word for it. That's going to be the honest truth there. But I see where you're coming from. And I said my primary point is less that I do not think that it's more of a like if you can merge what I'm proposing here, right? From what you're talking about from the concepts on a high level there is if you can merge those concepts, you jump certain lines. and go beyond merely just, messing around with time, messing around with cold fusion, and into an effective unified field theory. This is why that mathematical test that you're talking about would be a jump to answer that dark energy portion and into something that's more connected to, because I see without seeing, to be honest, but I see. Because then you can dig deeper into the aforementioned 0 point. You see, that's kind of where we're at, though, and that's why I just dovetailed in that direction, because I'm looking at it going, wait, but if we're talking these similar, oh shit, okay, because I know that you've been pushing that concept for a while yet, so I mean, and it's one of those ones where it's like, wait, I'm not sure, because again, this isn't my area of expertise for sure. But some of the stuff that I'm seeing there, I'm seeing like a pointer that says, wait, if we're utilizing a term, and I'm running into this too, actually, in the environment that I find myself in at the moment, where there's semantic issues that obfuscate communication, right? And if that's the scenario here, where it's a term issue, because then you fall in line with all those other rules, right, that go with that particular term. And if you can merge those terms, then the jump becomes pretty quickly like over, and then you end up answering dark energy, and you end up answering all the way up, all the way through. Which in turn, if you answer all the way through adequately, that itself is called a unified field theory. The question is, what's the actual unifying factor? Because right now, what you were proposing to me before, and what you're following on here, and even what you're talking about in the blitz there, is the observation of reality from at least 2 echelons removed perspective. So, as I was saying, is you're trying to describe that which space-time is composed of as a dimensionality, which would be accurate, because the things that are composed of something, again, much like how lower dimensions, the 2-dimensional, right, is composed or is a composition composes rather the higher echelon dimension of the 3rd dimension, which is a part of composition of the higher echelon, yet higher on echelon, which is space-time, of that dimension. And then in turn, from up there would be that of energy or the heat notion. But is it energy or is it electromagnetism? Like this is kind of where we end up in this space, because again, you're tearing up a little bit, like you're taking the perspective of a higher echelon than the human existence, as it were. Our measly linear space-time existence, to not the thing that's above it, but the thing that's above that. Because you're trying to look down. Basically, you're trying to look down at energy and go, what is energy? Because heat is energy, right? Also, I don't know why I'm gesticulating with a knife. I probably shouldn't be, but it's a pointer. I'm pointing at things with a knife. Rather than pointing at things with my middle finger like my dad used to do. Not with my middle finger, with his middle finger. I probably won't do it with mine. Ooh. So, okay. Unfortunately, you do need to go hit the hay here soon, but not quite yet. Also, on a side note, I want to make a point that's kind of been rattling my brain. So my immediate boss in the situation, at work, during a conversation we had yesterday, was basically like, "Yeah, dude, you should be an engineer." And I'm like, I don't know, because he basically was like, "You should go to college, because so you can get a degree, so you can pursue this." I'm like, I don't know, but because again, the philosophical consideration with regards to college, et cetera, et cetera. But then we end up running into this conversation. It's like, crap. Maybe he's not wrong. Maybe he's not wrong. Maybe I should pursue that, at least in some format. Yeah, well, I mean, I would say at that point, in time, our life, like both you and mine, because we're. Pardon me for being so bold, but you said the same thing earlier. Piece of the freaking pod. Because I'm sitting here, I'm mostly tracking. Like there's details I don't know because it's not my area of study, but I do definitely get the ideas there. Kind of like the same way as I encounter French. I don't know everything that's there, but I know the course. Unfortunately, with the maths, I can't translate the ideas like fully into language, but I can kind of intuit. I'm intuiting freaking physics, right? And freaking, I'm intuiting it. It's this sort of thing where it's like, yeah, you shouldn't do that because it's bad. But show your math. No, I don't know the math. I just know the ideas, I know the concepts. I can play with them. But yeah, I see. Oh, that actually something that made me laugh today too. So like one of my fellows at work, one of my coworkers, you guys got a background in like doing like calibrations of equipment and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, you mean your life in that way where people are telling you to go get it? Look, dude, you already have your freaking master's, right?" Like, yeah, I haven't even bothered with any of that crap. It was funny because like someone was like, "Oh yeah, so this thing, you ever try, you ever use the probes in college?" I'm like, "I didn't go to college." Well, in the military, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's better." Yes, see, my point was more that you already have the piece of paper, which I do not. Bullshit. Pardon my language, but because criminology by its very nature, and you know this because you did it. How do probabilities work? And tell me, oh, it doesn't have any math involved. It pointed at me at the freaking statistics. You know which statistics I'm talking about, too. Don't say it. Don't say it. That's uncool. But you know which statistics I'm talking about. There are lines that I'm not quite willing to cross. They're just too far, even for me. But yeah. But the point that I'm trying to, no, don't tell me, oh, there's no math involved with the degree of criminology. Dude. I wasn't born yesterday, and I know you, so give me that line. Get a degree in Why do you need a degree in astrophysics? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you need a degree in astrophysics? That seems unnecessary. Well, very little math, though. Yeah, no, that's fair. But I was just obviously I was just playing around. But I mean, it's technically there is a fair amount when you get to the actual like understanding the probabilities. Like because the nature of those probabilities as a whole, you end up getting into, I forget the terms, and I actually know them from should we say related fields of study, like unironically, but I can't remember all of them right now offhand. Because why am I combing my hair with a knife? This seems like a terrible idea. Is that skin? Uh-oh. No. I mean, because it's like the shoot, and the reason why I bring up the probabilities, it's not probabilities, it's the like the actual discussion of statistics and like the various elements that are related to it. I know that's in criminology because there's the the entire thing. It's related to that, and it's the discussion of those things. And it's like where you get like the amount. Shoot, it's been so long since I did the thing. If I saw it, if I had it in front of me, I could talk about it intelligently, but I don't. So, but where it's the likelihood that the given statistic is proper. Like there's the deviation stuff and all that, which does play heavily into the maths. So you just don't remember them as being part of your, because it wasn't your primary focus. But I know it was there because you were telling me about it in that particular series of conversations. So I also know it was there because of my own general, like I said before, purviews of stuff. But this is what I get for not being focused in specific things, because somebody. Well, yeah. See there. You see. This is my point. Is that statistics aren't your favorite things in the world, so you would block those memories, although the skills, but you would block those memories from your mind. No, I didn't do any math stuffs in your master's degree in criminology. Pushing me in the direction of freaking. Look, man, I don't want because the just jeez. I don't want to go that route though. I'm too old. And also, my family has a penchant to dying after getting a degree at a certain point, like in relatively shorter. Like, and it's gonna be morbid to say, but so my great uncle, although it was his master's in teaching, it was like, or no, it was his master's or his doctorate. It might have been his doctorate actually, in teaching, in theological instruction, something like that. Seriously, like. Yeah. It's just funny considering one of your current course directions. But anyway, like 6 months after he got it, it was either his master or his doctorate. He freaking dies. Like okay, because he's been teaching, right? But it's still one of those things where he gets the thing. Oh, that man. So I was like in my early teens, I want to say, when that occurred. Give or take. And he was my great uncle, but we called him uncle. And he honestly, like, if I had to give an answer of who's the wisest person I've known in my life, and there's several folks I would say who are, in the top echelon, like full stop, right? I would say it would be the top. And most people who knew him would agree with me for their own lives respectively. And my mom most assuredly did. And she, encountered plenty of wise asses. And his story, basically, back in the 70s, he got into a car accident, and he was suffered from dwarfism. He actually was an actor who was like part of he was part of like the stage production of Willy Wonka as one of the Oompa Loompas, right? One of the major ones. And he gets into a car accident, and he ends up quadriplegic. This is why I will wear, like, why I demand seatbelt wearing, even though now it's a law, right? Which is BS. It shouldn't be. But anyway, if somebody wants to put their life on the line like that, that's their prerogative. The idea of a seatbelt law is ridiculous. Requiring safety equipment in a vehicle is a different story. But requiring people to utilize that safety equipment, I do not agree with fundamentally. If you want to take your life in your own hands in that regards, it's your life. Please don't, wear a helmet. If you're driving a motorcycle or riding a bike. Put on a seatbelt if you're driving a car, or if you're in a moving vehicle. That, and use your PPE and all that stuff. Right? That's one thing. You should, but mandating that people use it, go away. It's none of your dang business. I'm just saying. Should not be a matter of the law. It is, therefore, it should be respected as such. Fair, but it should not be a matter of the law. Anyway, say that to say this. Weirdly enough, there's actually circling back properly to what I was saying. So this was in the 70s, where it was neither a mandated mechanism in the vehicle, nor was it, of course, therefore mandated to wear. He was wearing his seatbelt, therefore he survived the accident. However, he ended up quadriplegic. Now, he was then given 5 years to live. Again, this is in the 70s, 60s, 70s. Given 5 years to live because he was quadriplegic and suffered from dwarfism, which folks that suffer from dwarfism tend to have enlarged hearts because their hearts are normal sized, but their bodies are not, right? So they've got the shorter limbs and they've got the normal sized torso. Fair. So then he's given like 5 years left. And again, this is the 60s, 70s. He lived until the early 2000s. Or was it the late 90s? I don't remember, as I said before. It was either early in my teens or thereabouts. But he lived until, like, we'll call it the late 90s, when he was given 5 years to live in the 70s. And I said, he ended up going through the theological studies and teaching theology. So he didn't go like the pastor route, but he went teaching theology as his educational route. So as I said, he just gotten his seriously just gotten up there, and I think it was his doctorate. I could again be wrong, but I'm pretty certain it was his doctorate, because the master's, as I understand, isn't all that far off. The doctorate one can be a struggle, especially in more unique, and it was Christian theology then, more unique or certain fields are harder to get way harder to get your doctorate than others. So, as I understand it, because you got to get all the P's and Q's and all that stuff rightly aligned, and the knowledge is in order to do so, and especially from certain pathways, as it were. So, and again, I don't know all the details. I just know that it's one of those, mileage does vary. Not your mileage may vary, the mileage does vary. It depends upon who's the. Anyway, I'm speaking out of my ass a little bit on that one, but I have a general gist of it. Talking to both you and just in general, right? There it goes. There it goes. So anyway, so yeah, so and also, as I said before, doing the thing that occurred with my great uncle. So there's that, right? Now, flash forward to 2020. All right, in 2019, my mom finally gets around. Basically, had been working on it and finally gets her. I don't know if it was merely a bachelor's. I think it might have been just, and I say merely, right? But gets a bachelor. She's turning she was turning. I think it was she 60 at that point? Yeah, I think she was 60 at that point. And then she goes and she fucking dies 4 months afterwards, getting her degree. All right. So my dad managed to avoid getting a degree, and I say it that way, tongue in cheek, but got some education at MIT, and then had weird crap happen, and then ended up getting into a manufacturing gig where he was very well paid, as I understand it. Not as well paid as he could have been if he'd been pursuing it the entire time, but hey, life does what life does. The apple does not fall far from the tree, I will say. So he didn't die until he was in his mid-70s. So to be fair, he didn't get a degree, which means that's why he didn't die. It's because he didn't get a degree. He lived a nice long life because he didn't get a degree. That's my current theory right now. Now, I can't say about my grandmother or grandfather on my mom's side, nor on my father's side for that matter either. But I will say that my great uncle, of whom I have great respect for, and my mother, in my experience, they shortly after getting a degree, they died. So I'm just saying, I might want to avoid getting a degree under that auspice alone. The moon's bad, right? I see you typing something. There again, you typing is ghost in this context. You were making me think about the possibility that consciousness exists in the electromagnetic field, which means consciousness would be pure energy, which ends up tying into Genesis. Yes. No, I mean that's not even a. I thought that was settled. That was a settled matter. Because consciousness very much so exists in the electromagnetic field. Considering that the very nature of synapses and what have you are electromagnetically active. Like, in fact, that's what actually allows cognition effectively. No cognition without electromagnetics. The interactions thereof they require electromagnetics because it's what is the term I'm looking for? Why can't I think of the word for brain chemistry? The electrochemical, I think, is the term. Which then in turn is to electromagnetics, which means that consciousness is arguably pure energy, even under that auspice, because the chemical element of it is still energy. E equals mc squared, right? So therefore, consciousness is pure energy, regardless of how you cut it. Because once again, bottom line equals mc squared. What's up, mc squared? How is it 3 hours in? I'm supposed to only stream for 2 hours a day. I was really, really tired, and then you and me. Oh crap! The two of you, both you and media, got me freaking going. This is what I get for inviting media over, right? No. 30. No. You know what my response to having somebody point a pistol at me at this point is? What is that? 7 psychopaths? Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can remember his name now. There we go. So, I doubt you're dealing with that many problems. So there's a story, all right, and it's a story that I told Chappie, all right, and so now I'm gonna tell y'all, all right. So there I was, and then I'm not gonna live this down at work, and so I shouldn't live this out in general because it's ridiculous what happened. It's also hilarious. So there I was, all right, and I was running a few minutes late to work. Not too much, not enough to make a deal about it. Not enough to, no, I wasn't freaking out because oh no, I'm like an hour late or whatever. I didn't let no. I'm just a few minutes. And actually, I was on time, but I have to put on. There's not like a super amount of like other elements I have to put on PPE wise or ESD stuff wise. But I have to, I have to take a few minutes before I actually go into the office to get properly prepared, grounded and all that stuff. This is how it works, right? Electronics and all. So I get that, and I'm running a few minutes late, right? I'm getting it like sitting down where I want to be, where I've got time to like sit and just kind of think and look at and review my emails and all that. Because you know how that goes. You check your emails first thing in the morning, all that stuff, right? The various dashboards or. You gotta check your stuff right when you sit down. So I'm coming in, and there's a dude guy that's talking with my coworker because the current space is that there's a bench that's currently where our occupational is on the left side of the thing. And so there are computer stations and all that stuff. My chair is over here. My coworker's over here. You know, so there's basically like you can't see it, but there's me over here. There's them. Where my space, my workspace is, and their workspace. So he's sitting by the door, and I come in, I see him, and I see somebody about to sit in my chair. All right, he's sitting in my freaking chair, and all I can think about is this fella is about to sit in my chair that I need to get to sit into. I need to sit down and go start my workday and catch up on the things that I need to catch up on. And I haven't even had my freaking coffee, all right? So I walk in and I see this person, and I'm like, can't sit there. That's my chair, right? Please, you know, please. This is my chair. You cannot sit there. There's a chair over there if you want to, but this is my chair. Now, he gives me this look, and it's the sort of look that the guy has that in this image, right? It's the sort of look there where he's looking at it like, but I've got a gun. I don't care. Well, so that turns out that the fella in question, because I'm reading my coworker. At this point, I've got a good idea of his kind of tells and stuff like that, and he's deferring, like he's showing deference to this fella, and I don't really recognize the fella. Well, it turns out that I did recognize him a little bit, but only a tiny bit, because months ago he was one of the people who were in my interview for this position. So the story goes that turns out that this fella, it's my boss's boss. As far as these hierarchical situations go. So I basically walked in, told my boss's boss to get out of my chair. My chair. And to go to his corner. So and it's the sort of situation where the thing is, the part that gets me here, and to be fair to the fella, and honest and decent about it, he complied. Like, it's the sort of thing where it's like I said before, it's the sort of like, even though he didn't really like the verbiage there, the moment was like that, where I walk into the situation and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, but I'm the head honcho here. I've got the and I could tell as soon as I said it, and as soon as I saw the face on my, I could read off my coworker, because I know him fairly well at this point in time. I could read the abject horror on my dude's face, like my dude's posture and all that, and I could read the confusion off of him, and I'm just like, no, it's my chair. The implicit conversation that I figured out right quick, after in the moments preceding, or afterwards. I'm like, it's my chair. And so the implication is that his statement, the postures and the body, the nonverbals, which again, I picked up, I was sensitive to, was basically but I'm the one with the authority here. You don't have the authority here. I don't care. My chair. He's just like, okay, and he gave me a chair. I'm like, you can sit, and I sat down in the chair. I said, "There's a chair right there that you can sit in." Well, I wasn't a tyrant in this situation. Let's put it this way, though, to be fair to me, all right? I wasn't a complete tyrant, right? I wasn't a complete a bad guy. I was like, but there's a chair over there. If you want to sit, you can sit over in the chair over there. Like, I may have literally taken the power of the situation from somebody who's way above my pay grade. But I was nice with it, right? I'm like, go there's a chair, because I felt bad. It was one of those moments where I felt bad, and this is the second time I've done something like this at the workplace. Now, the other person was a functionary, so he was technically speaking, maybe not that much. He wasn't that much above my pay grade. He was just a little bit above my pay grade, where I tried to steal his cart. Which that was funny. That one I felt really bad about, because I did it too. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for my cart. And I start doing turn. He's like, but that's my cart. So Anyway, back to the story at hand though. So yeah, so I look afterwards and he starts asking questions in a manner that's a bossly, like that is a boss's manner, because the table turns back and he's like, so is your situation like how you feel the same as your coworkers? Because he just said something, and I'm like, I just got in. Yes, it's about the same. I just got in. I don't. He's like, you just got in. I'm like, yes, I just got in. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who you are. Like, I know I should know based upon the information that just occurred. I know I should know who you are, but I don't know who you are. And frankly speaking, you were sitting in my chair, so I don't care who you are. Why are you? Well, I didn't ask that question, but my attitude was like slowly sinking into the like, I should probably lighten up here. Because I took a sip. At that point, I took a sip of my coffee. I'm like, I just got in. I take a sip of my coffee. I'm trying to log into my computer, and I suck at the logging in because the rules aren't what I'm used to for the password. But anyway, and so I sip my coffee, and I'm just like, I just got in. He's like, you just got in. Yes, I just got in. I don't. Give me a minute, you know, like give me a minute to like sit down, settle in, check my emails. Give me just a second to get my bearings about where I'm at right now. Don't. I just sat down at my desk. That you were trying to stop me from sitting down. Who do you think you are? And again, this is my attitude. I was wrong for it. I admit. I have to admit. Who the hell do you think you are? Well, truth is that he's my boss's boss, so he can kind of get away with these things. But I don't know this, so. Next time I won't be able to, but everyone's having a laugh at it, including me, because I have to. It's one of those spots where it's like I'm embarrassed, but it's also hilarious. And it's one of those like endearing sort of circumstances. Like, who do you think you are? Well, I'm me. Who are you? Like I'm starting. You know, I'm who I am. What do you want? Oh, okay. Well, that's not an unfair request. You know, like. That was kind of the thing. So now the thing with the cart, that one was messed up. That was messed up. That one I have to admit, that was screwy. That one was one where I didn't have an excuse. It was just like I was just being just a tool. Because like, yeah. So the thing is that for where you were at positioning wise, that's closer to when I was in the Marines, where that would have been a reasonable choice. But in a civilian sector position, which that does not, your previous position does not count as a civilian sector position, you do that and you get the cops called on you. Yes, even you would get the cops called on you in that circumstance. And possibly, like, it would basically be Morpheus when he gets captured. It was a civilian agency, but not a civilian position. I know what I said. I stand by what I said. It's a civilian agency in the same way that a police department is a civilian agency. Play that game, you freaking... But yeah, well, again, when you have access to any level of ordnance, you stop being a civilian agency so far, which could be a militia level agency, which is still civilian. It becomes an artificial difference. You know, what's the difference between a bunch of guys in a backyard with a tank and a tank that's sitting in a military yard? Logistics, you know, like it's not that much of a difference. It's how long, basically, it's the operational length of that, or operational life of that device is more or less the difference. But even then, that's debatable because sometimes, you know, well, you see what I'm saying. That's another difference there too, for sure. No, it's not even a question. Like, I mean, Tiananmen Square is a thing, right? And those were tanks that were in the military yards, right? So I did just make that note of comparison. I did that on purpose, and that is, I wish that I were not in this spot or a day or an age where I would have to make that sort of comparison. But what happened now, technically the week before last happened. So and if that, then who? Ooh, neat. Oh, were my plans had worked the way that I wish they had, then I would have been there. But they did not quite, so. Oh, nice, nice. Very nice indeed. Wait, so does she already have like experience doing jumps? Because I don't. I mean, I have no freaking. Also, my knees would not allow me to do such a thing at this point in time. I'm too busted at this stage. Like, oh, I would love to do that, but I just realized that I just had some problems walking up some stairs. So, yeah. She doesn't, so I presume you've got, a buddy that's gonna help with doing the parachute thing. Just be like autopilot, just push her out. Be on the ground. Oh, make sure to tuck and roll. No, don't be like that. I mean, I have done rappelling stuff, so to be fair, I have some idea of some of the stuff, and break falls, which are, as I understand it, philosophically in the same ballpark. Understanding one leads to understanding the others. Okay. Ah. Okay. Well, good for him, for one. I say him, I assume. For choosing properly. Unlike some of my buddies who, with respect, goes wrongly. Like, I understand why they made their decision in the manner that they did. When you're a lifer, it's kind of what you're stuck with in a manner. But there are certain lines that should not be crossed, even for the military. Even less so for the public sector. The public sector ones, people who jumped on board on that, were just merely. Oh no! Well, still, I mean, it's just at the point there where he's picking up thus, he's probably got at least enough to, actually retire out, as opposed to, those who aren't quite to the line that major. Well, I don't know exactly for y'all there, but I think there are conditions where that ends up being, close enough, right? But there are conditions where it doesn't, and I don't know. Well, and it is indeed. Tried for it. So, wow. But then again, we knew this already, right? Oh, you won though. Well, that's surprising to me. I mean, well, I say that, but that's only because that's my knee-jerk reaction. Insubordination? Isn't insubordination? Oh, they tried insubordination. Okay, I got you now. The language barriers, to be fair. So I was being an ass. Because that's an example of such. Because English, no, nothing to apologize for, man. That was me being a jerk, not you. Plus, it's getting late, so it's one of those things where, you know, you're good. You are good. Okay. Oh, so he said, well, you can't fire me, I quit. Now the government can say, no, we fire you, asshat. Except that's not how that works. Because when you know, at least U.S. military-wise, there are certain portions that like grandfather out. You know, or sorry, there's certain portions that go away, but there are certain portions that are technically grandfathered. Like that you said you agreed to, and you're bound. Like there's not turning off certain portions. So they generally come down to like how the ramifications of, you know, violence comes down to, that sort of thing. But so. All right, I have to admit that I have to call it, because I'm starting. I hit that spot finally where I am definitely fading. I'm gonna say though that, to kind of circle way back, that I am proposing that the treatment of this notion of heat field as, or as in comparison or conjunction with the magnetic fields. See, I'm told you I'm fading. May very well. Well, I'm like slurring my words. I'm starting to. I just hit a hard wall. My goodness. Would be worth the exploration. Would be the word I haven't drank today either. What is going on here? No, you can't make me. You can't make me. But I do need to go sleep. So, anyway, always a pleasure. Yay! No, don't be late. Like, late to which? Because there's one thing like that. There's one thing where it's like a bummer, but the other one's like, no. Okay, that, I guess I find that acceptable. I guess. Darn it. I mean, understood, and I appreciate the heads up. Yeah. I said understood and appreciate the heads up. I wish that you could make it to the meeting though, and this one's gonna be interesting because it's gonna include marching orders for, you know, what and well, you already know media. Well, no, you're good, man. I get it, but you know, you already know media, right? But you know, he's specifically going to be there, and it's kind of going to be like, hey, here's the group, and here's media, because we had this discussion, you know, 2 months ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure. So, well, I mean, again, it's not a big thing, and I don't even know if he's going to show necessarily, but the intention is to be like, hey, by the way, we have Media Detective now as well. And then discussions and introductions, and still need to like completely early, especially seeing what I saw today. Damn. Well, what I'll have to say on that one is going to be more for later. You know. So, well, and again, it's more of a like, we'll probably have a chance to meet up at a later point too. You know, we're just gonna like say, hey guys, let's all get together and just sit and chat. The problem is that during the work week, I have this stuff streams, which in turn limits the discussion points, and they can budget to a certain extent. Like right now, I could have dropped it, but there are people that watch, right? And it's one of those things. So. Yeah, see friends, but there are certain conversations that have to be held outside of that time frame, and I have a very limited, as you in your own way, frame outside of that time frame. So it's like Fridays are reserved, as well as the Saturdays where somebody's game that hasn't happened in a while. That was mean of me. You're waiting on Div. Oh, no. So his mandatory overtime. Oh no. Oh, he's gonna be broken hearing that idea. So his mandatory overtime does not affect his Saturdays. Like, yeah, it doesn't affect his Saturdays, which is when that's slotted for. Yeah, it does affect his Thursdays, which we had a long conversation about today, but because miscommunication's important, right? Communication's important, and not assuming is important. Yeah, no, because remember his schedule is 410s standard and becomes 512s, but they're contiguous. So yeah. Yeah, and again, I'm not really pushing on it. I'm just saying that we need to get back into it. Is all. No, never. I refuse to believe that. All right, I do for real though. Need to cut at this point. So, as a pleasure always. Wow, I'm just gonna go ahead with the mangled word salad I'm about to say out. So, a pleasure as always. Both to you, of course, Ghost. The media for showing up was fun. Hopefully, it keeps coming up. Although I'll be able to try to focus more in the future. Was the other thing. Pleasure as always. If someone watches this entire time frame, live, one thing. Live, fair enough. Live, okay. But someone watching it in post, why are you stalking us? I mean, seriously, no, you're cool. But I don't know. You should really consider yourself, like what you're up to. If you watch the entire thing here, I'm pretty certain you should be able to see the chats. But if you can't, I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna approve them. I don't know if you can or not, so I don't even know. But if you can, okay, fair, I kind of get it. But why are you stalking us? And if you can't, look, I'm not gonna say get some help, but I'm gonna say get some help. Because if you're at this point in time and you watch the entire thing, and if you only if you watch the entire, not if you skip to the end, right? But if you watch the entire thing, the 3.5 hours or so, because I'm gonna ramble for another little bit, to make it 3.5 hours, so that I'm not lying. If you do, like seriously, Seriously, like I have plenty of things wrong with me. All right, like the fact that I'm just for a 2-hour stream, it's now 3 3.5 hours. That took too long to get there. Sorry for how annoying that was. 3.5 hours. All right. If you get to this point of this silliness, now I guess there was some stuff that was really compelling, like what media was working on and the crazy maths in front of me. I suppose it could be fairly compelling because it's interacting with people and so on and so on. But even then, I'm still going to say, and I hate to say this because I appreciate you showing up and I appreciate you sticking around. I'm going to use the cliche. Go touch some grass. Just go. Just go. Or if it's the middle of the night, just go outside. Enjoy the moon, the stars, the sun, the air, the big scary outdoors thing, right? Like, I know it's terrible. Go make a friend. Or, you know what? Hit me up. I mean, I'm saying that, in the server, like, be like, hey, don't do admins with a generic question, because if you do that, you're probably going to get yourself banned. Probably not by me either. One of my mods or admins will be like, what the heck is wrong with this person? Then you'll get into an argument, and then you'll get eliminated. Like, that's how that works. Don't do that. But if you got me directly in the server, with an actual conversation you want to talk about, I'll probably respond. And probably kindly. Most people are like that. If you actually say, hey, this is the bottom line lesson of all the stuff for this past week so far. Is if you actually have something positive to say, something to actually say, that's one thing. If you put a generic response, you get a generic answer. That's how it works. And the world is kind of a negative place. So if you give a generic response, it'll be generic negative. You get a positive response or positive statement, it'll probably lean towards the positive. You get out what you put in. Just saying. If you demand, you try and take, you'll get taken from. Now, before I start randomly throwing out Bible quotes to back up this line of thinking, I'm going to leave it at that. Cheers. Again.